today we are going to do some Sanctum and hopefully explaining some of it. So first it's gonna load up, and I just wanted to make this just for myself, and there's some things that might be a little bit tricky, and I managed to figure some stuff out. It is a very difficult content, but I mean, so is the rest of the game, so can't expect this to be that much harder. The boss can be actually exceptionally difficult. But let's start with, what is the Sanctum? It's just the activity you're gonna do to ascend, right? To get your passive points for this tree. And you get this one at Act 2. Let's see if I can open the menu. So there's an Act 2 one. It is somewhere around here. Here you go, the Trial of Sekimas. Basically, you do the caravan, eventually you unlock this at level 22. You need the Daijin Baria, I think it's called. I don't know what it's called. But it's these coins, right? And I'm going to kind of run two, or probably one. I'm debating whether I should just run this one. The interesting thing about these, they do not have a level requirement. They have an area level, but not a level requirement. So one thing that they can be used for is leveling, right? You can either find some, you have some from the guild, or just somebody that's already passed them and has some coins, or if you're in trade, you can buy one, right? So you can have a higher level, basically whatever level you want, and even if you're not going to succeed too much, it does have a decent amount of rares. They're not thrown as you with a ton of like weak white mobs like in maps or some of the other areas, so it is not a bad place to level. Like while attempting this one, as you see, it's level 78. I think it's the lowest level you can get the trials at. I was level maybe 73, 74 when I started them, and through maps, you die here and there because there's always going to be a random mod, and here you die as well, but it's a little bit harder to die. There's very few things that specifically kill you. It ended up being honor that was killing me more, which doesn't destroy XP, so it's kind of nice in that regard. But let's continue with it. So these coins, as you see, they have honor level, the amount of trials, the number of trials will guarantee an ascendancy. The first ascendancy is the first trial. I think you get it automatically as a quest, but you can eventually find them. Then there's the second one, right? It says number of trials 2. As soon as you beat the second floor, you get your second, and 3, you get the third, 4, you get your fourth. Easy way to know if it's going to grant you an ascendancy is if you see this, completing this ascendancy trial will not grant. If it says it will grant, then obviously it will give you the stuff. But let's go into it. So I'm gonna, should I do the fourth? I doubt I'm gonna get to the fourth room, especially if I'm going slow. But you never quite knew. But you know what? So I can show it in. Now I'll just do the 3 first. Just that way I can go slower with the monster types and stuff. Alright, so as you see, I have a bunch of relics, but we'll go over that a little bit later. We can go right into it, so we can start with the types of rooms. Okay, when you go in, you're going to instantly go into a trial. It's usually pretty easy unless you get the gauntlet. But we get just survive. We're going to do it real quick. This is level 3. This is also just level 72. We should be clearing this pretty quick. You will see that there is about 3 rares you kill here.
Choke on this!
Alright, they're gonna slowly spawn. As long as you keep moving, should be generally fine. We'll talk about what each monster is in a second.
Simple enough.
And how to actually dodge them, but this is just timer based. You kill the rares, you move on. So faster we kill the rares, faster we move on. Good. Right, and I keep moving. Like Dory, except instead of swimming, we gotta go keep. Yeah, we got like 7 seconds. I think we might even kill this one. No, it's proximity. A little bit annoying. But it's done. Just quickly get our gold keys. Go D&D. There we go. Alright, so let's start with the types of rooms. Right. So you're gonna get this type of layout, right? And there are a bunch of different room types, and we're gonna show them on screen in a second. Let me find this one. there is a site for this, right? And it shows you this image, right? Hopefully you guys can see it. So there are 3 types of rooms that you have to actually do. There's the Chalice Trial, the Escape Trial, Hourglass Trial, Ritual Trial, Gauntlet Trial. Chalice, basically just kill rares. It's 2 on floor 1 and 2. Floor 2 can just have harder. Floor 3 usually has around 3, maybe more, and floor 4, 3 to 4, depending on how it goes. It can obviously differ, but it's usually about starting at 2 on the first level, and then slowly goes up into harder versions or more of them. Then there's Escape. Escape crystals, floor 1, very easy. You just tap the crystals, it tells you a path to go. You follow that path. You can just literally go for it on the first floor. Second floor is a little bit more diverse. You can go in any direction because after you hit the first crystal, there's going to be a bunch of shining light. Just basically explore the whole area. If you have a clear skill, it's very nice. If you have a stun skill, you don't really need to stop. The timer is a little bit generous, but you still want to keep moving. You don't really want to stand still and kill things. There. So that's Escape. Pretty easy. It's probably the easiest of them all. Then we had Hourglass, the one we just did, which is just a survival. It is, if you have high DPS and high resistance and you even high mobility, this is not an issue at all. If one of those 3 struggles, you might take some honor damage here and there. But the faster you can kill those rares, the better. They still can have some dangerous mods, but not too bad. But it probably is one of the harder ones. And then you can kind of see it. Even though it has a grading, I don't think it's grading correct because it says rare is the easiest and these are medium and this one's hard, but we'll explain that later. Ritual, you just gotta destroy the guys summoning the portal, or actually destroy the portal. If you have stun, free, some kind of interaction like that, it's pretty easy, right? You just keep destroying them, and then you destroy the 2 guys. And the cool thing is, if you destroy the portal or the 2 guys casting the ritual, then all the monsters summoned by it also stop. So you don't even need to kill the monsters that are spawned out of it. You just need to focus on the guys summoning it. And we'll go through it. There will be a showcase at the end. And then Gauntlet, it's basically just traps, right? You run through a bunch of different areas, just like the first PoE1 Gauntlet. There are traps you have to get through. Sometimes there's a little bit of monsters, some difficult things to dodge. It's not the worst, but if you have trouble with fine movements, then this will get harder and harder. First floor, typically pretty easy. It starts to get harder and harder and harder. Usually you want fire resist, a little bit of chaos for poison, and those are the 2 biggest resistances you want. There is no cold trap, at least as far as I've seen, and there is no lightning trap, though monsters do have lightning itself, so you want to be careful. But in my opinion, Gauntlet, if you are good at dodging, it requires no DPS, so you can do it pretty quick, or like minimal DPS, right? Because you don't actually have to kill the monsters. Sometimes you want to stun them, but you know, minor DPS clear. Ritual, you do need to be able to kill the things, but as long as you can stun, freeze, you should be fine. So I would say Escape is the easiest. You don't have to kill anything. Then Ritual would be the second. Then, at least personally, I like the Gauntlet as the third, and you will see it in my final run why I like the Gauntlet. It's kind of quick. But some people enjoy killing the monsters. Hourglass is probably the hardest, and at least for me. But this can change depending on your, how strong you are. If you're like super strong and you have the clear build and everything, this you just got this. This is gonna be like a no-brainer. While this might be super hard depending on your movement. So let's now go into the next part, the rewards. All right. So there's a bunch of different rooms that they can give, right? You can give Sacred Water, regular or large. This is very useful, and we'll talk about strategies at the end, but this is one of the good ones. Recover 25% honor can be useful, but it is only useful if you need to recover the honor, right? Same thing with this one, but this one you gain a random boon, so definitely a better one. This one you basically never take. Like, unless you're almost out of honor, you never take this. This random affliction can basically break you. And we'll talk about that once we get to the afflictions. But, yes. Then, choose one of the 3 random pledges, buff or debuff. This can be iffy, but if you have nothing else to do, it's always a good room. Let's say if you have this one, you choose the random boon always, because sometimes you don't actually choose anything here. Because 90% of the time, or at least 80% of the time, it will give you an affliction, a random one, and it suffers from the same reason as why this one's not good. It's because random means it could be anything, and that can just destroy your run. This one is the best, right? It's like Blessing of the Wind or something. It recovers honor, gain a boon, clean, and affliction. Best one by far. If you can path to it, you do. Otherwise, you don't have to. Recovers 25% honor and gives sacred water. This one's interesting. I don't think I've actually seen this one very often. I'm not sure where it is, but if you can find it, it's obviously giving sacred water. Very nice. I think it's just the smaller of the sacred water with the heal. Now let's go over. Sometimes there are different keys. If you can get keys, higher the better, right? This is just rewards. Obviously, if you're just trying for ascendancy, you don't need to worry too much about this. But if you are doing it also for the rewards, and there can be some good rewards, you definitely want these keys. These are less necessary, but you can always get lucky, right? If it's a gold one, I try to go for it. Bronze and silver are high chances it's not good. There's also a high chance the gold one's nothing, but it gives you another gold chance. And then merchant, this is good if you can path to it and you know you have sacred water. Otherwise, it's kind of irrelevant. There's a unique part about the Sanctum here, and that is when you beat the boss, you get a merchant. You always get a merchant. So floor 1 merchant, floor 2 merchant, and floor 3 merchants. They're regular merchants. They don't have anything less or more. So you're guaranteed merchants. So if you don't get a merchant here, unless you need one before the boss, you can definitely just wait. And for the last floor, obviously there's a boss and then you win. You don't need the merchant, but the merchant can also sell relics that can be really, really useful at the end. So still useful there. And then you can always try to find the merchant on the 4th floor, but by then you should really have most of your things. It's like Hail Mary. And then let's go into afflictions. Oh, I thought I had the afflictions page. Let me see. See if I can quickly get this up. Ooh, I don't see one. It should be somewhere if I can find it real quick. Let me find it. Afflictions. Major boons. No, I think this is the PoE one. Yes, that is the PoE one. Yeah, I don't know how much afflictions there are here, but generally, most of them are bad. There's ones that give you damage taken, right? And those you definitely want to avoid. Oh, nope, that's not it. Yeah, I'm hoping I can find it. I had it earlier. I just can't seem to have it now, which is annoying. Is there one? Yeah. Is there a list? I swear I remember I found a list. Okay, that's reward types, room challenges. Yeah, I can't seem to find it, which is very unfortunate because there's a ton of afflictions out there. But we'll go over the ones that we see now. So as you see, there's ones that give you more damage taken. Either monsters do more damage or you take more damage of that nature. This is only useful to take if you're number 1 very defensive, and number 2 if the content's undervalued. This is actually a big problem for you, number 1, if you're hardcore, for obvious reasons. But there is another reason, and that is honor here, right? Like you taking your honor and stuff can survive the hit, but if you don't, you obviously are also out, right? So you surviving a hit is very important. If a monster can one-shot you, you never take this, right? If monsters don't one-shoot you and you, for the most part, you can survive, you can get away with it. Especially the final boss, it doesn't really do a lot of damage, so you can kind of get away with it here and there, but it's definitely not suggested. The next are things that reduce your honor, right? They reduce your honor restored. This is, I feel, a pretty safe one, just because I don't really need restoration that much, but you can kind of gauge it. It's one of the safer ones because it doesn't really negatively impact you and you still restore honor. The reduced maximum honor is a little bit more problematic because your maximum honor is how much total you have. If that reduces, it just instantly cuts it. Then there's stuff like this. Monsters remove life, mana, and energy shield. Typically, this is not too big of a problem, especially if you're not getting hit and you have high evasion, right? If you have high armor, this might be a problem because you're always getting hit and you're reducing that hit. But if you have high evasion, then it's not really a problem, at least until you get to the floor 4 boss. This is definitely a mod you cannot take, right? Because he will hit you many times, meaning that you will always be taking like tons of damage. And then monsters having extra life, right? Extra resist, or I don't think they have extra, but like extra life, extra stuff. This is also a thing they can get. Or on the other hand, you deal less damage, right? That is also a big problem, because if you can't kill things fast enough, it means that you have to spend longer time on them. Obviously, if you have high DPS, it's not an issue. But if you are struggling with the DPS, this becomes an issue slowly. It's not too big of a problem, at least unless you're trying to get to the floor 4 boss. And we'll get to that later. But the idea is this, like the increased life and the damage is really painful for the floor 4 boss. If you're not there, it's still annoying and it still can be painful because you have to deal with the monsters and the mechanics a little bit longer. But it's not the worst. Now, there is a few of them that are pretty bad. Let me see if I can. Maybe there are earlier ones that I can use. Let me see. It's got to be something, right? Minor friction. No. Because I want some kind of list. Maybe that's what I do. Maybe I just get the PoE 1 list, and I kind of remember everything, so it should be fine. Let me just put it at this. See if this has
An arbor for we do, but
hopefully that's not too loud. So just give me a moment. Reward. Alright, so yeah, this is not the correct one, unfortunately. But this will just kind of show you from the original one. This is from PoE. But that's not going to be good though, is it? Yeah. Yeah, it's very similar. So there's also smokes. So we'll just go through that. Smoke basically tells you certain things you can't see about the room. The one I find the least impactful is red smoke, because it doesn't tell you the type of room, right? So you see Gauntlet Trial, right, Chalice and stuff like that. Mostly because I typically can do all of them unless I specifically want to avoid them. So that one's the easiest one. But basically anything on this screen can be removed from your vision, right? There is a smoke that removes your ability to see your reward, right? So what's in the bubble, right? This one's sacred. They're all sacred water, right? But here's like a key. You not seeing that. It's probably the second one that you don't care about. I mean, it can be harmful because you're trying to get certain things, but it's probably the second least harmful. The third one is you can't see a room ahead. So you see how I see 2 sets of rooms? I will not be able to see this set if I have, I think it's black smoke. Right. Technically, if you have the scrying crystal, you will be able to see this because you would be able to see 3 rooms total, and that cuts 1. So in that case, it's not too bad. But cutting 1 room is really problematic if you're doing more than 1 floor or 2 floors, because as you go through the floors, you really want to know what's ahead, because as you can see, they have lines, right? You see the lines there? They lead to certain rooms. So seeing ahead and seeing which room connects is like the worst one for you. Right, because it basically removes all the information. It removes the type of trial, removes the afflictions, it removes the rewards, and it removes just what's there. And you'll see I'm gonna actually end up getting something like that, and it's not good. Like, you're basically relying on luck. So you definitely want to see it. And then probably the worst one of them all is you do not see afflictions. Right, sometimes you're locked into like here. You see each room has an affliction. And I kind of either want this one or this one. I really don't want this one, but I'm also doing a 3 trial one, so maybe I could get this one. It's not the worst, but I'll probably go for this one. But I see the afflictions. If you can't see them, you're gonna get a random one, and a random one is the worst one. And the reason the random one is the worst one is because we kind of talked about this, where you get less damage and more life, but there are a few others that are also pretty bad. There's one that gives you reduced movement speed. That is just a no-go. If you have reduced movement speed, you're not going anywhere fast. It's going to make every single thing harder. And especially the last fight for the boss, it's literally undoable if your movement speed's too low and you have no way around it, right? Either by removing slow effects or stuff like that. So we talked about the rooms, afflictions, and rewards. We'll kind of go into a little bit of pathing. So as you can see, there's lines, right? So even though we can't see these future rooms, there's always lines. You want to avoid taking rooms that are only leading to one path, right? Let's say we take this, and then it means it has to go to this room. So I would prefer these two because then I have a choice, right? That way it's a little bit easier to avoid bad rooms coming in. Now, as you can see, all of these are kind of leading to this one, right? But I have choices from this one, meaning if I take this one, I'm locked into this one. Now imagine this one didn't have an arrow and it kept going this way, then I'm screwed. I am basically going to go to this room, right? So you want to try to use these lines to your advantage, and you're going to see I kind of do that at the end because it's literally the only thing you see, but it can be super useful, right? Especially if you can see ahead. Next, we're going to just go into each floor, and we're going to talk a little bit about the monsters, right? So let's go. Which one do we want? Kind of want that one, but I also don't like this one. But this is only a 3-floor challenge, so I will do that. So, as for the type of rooms, we're going to go through them, and we're going to explain. So this is the trap one. Trap one can be a little bit annoying, but so for those things, you basically just want to wait for them to pop and then step over them. Here, pretty simple. Just walk with the rotation. And then a lot of them just have levers that open doors. Typically, you don't really need to backtrack. See? So I step in it, I'm safe. You can wait. Boom. Clear it, right? 0 honor taken. Next, there's a few monsters here and there. I like to kill them just so that they're not out of my way. They also give water, so very useful. Right, you see I'm just waiting. Okay. I'm in no rush. Now, I could just rush it, right, and run here, but there's no reason. Right. So you can kind of do this, right? If you don't see the things moving, you can run past it. So that door is open. There's also this door. Right, you can see you can kill them. You can also just go around them. There's really no reason for us to stay here. There we go. We follow this. Hopefully this is the right way. It kind of was 2 doors. I kind of opened both, which was kind of unnecessary, but yeah. And then as you can see, I also have a stun skill. Very useful, but this is also low level, so you're not going to really see the damage output. So as you can see, these are just filler monsters, right? They try to shoot you, hit you from a distance. I keep moving. I'm fine. These scorpions are a little bit problematic, right? These guys shoot the fire things. Each monster has a little bit of unique ability, but for the most part, it's not too bad. Right, if you learn them, the guys with the rock heads, if you stun them and then kill them, they should be fine, or freeze them. These snakes are probably also pretty easy. In the first rooms, there's not much that can hurt you. So we're gonna move on. So as you can see now, I can see the next room, and we got the next part. We're gonna go right into it. Good. So we already did the hourglass, but you're gonna see it again. This time, I'm going to talk a little bit about the monsters. So here, you can kind of even see some of the monsters are going to be these guys. They're just rocks. They make stuff drop from the sky, and they do slams. If you stay away from them, they're fine. If you have to go in, they have a very telegraphed slam. So just like dodge away for a second, come in, fight them. Just speaking, you want to move around. If you're going to dodge, just be careful. You don't want to just dodge forever, because then you end up just dodging and never actually hitting. You want to do hits, particularly stuns. In my case, it's flash grenade. And then obviously damage. The faster you kill everything, faster the timer goes down. The second type of monster is a spider. The spiders have an ability where they kind of pull back and then spit at you. That's probably the one that's going to take the most honor. The rest of it is just basic attack here and there. The little spiders are probably more annoying because they shoot more regularly. And then I think the third one is a snake. The snake throws a little bit of an orb. It explodes over time. Not very scary, you just don't stand on it. The other ability it has is to put a rune on the ground, which pretty telegraphed as well. Just don't stand in the rune. Now this is the lightning I was talking about. It's a little bit annoying because you don't want to stand still. It's very, like, as soon as the lightning starts popping under your ground, you want to move because it comes down pretty quick. See another spider. Now you can also notice that there's lightning, right? The lightning guys, even though there was no lightning mod on it. How this works is if one of the rare monsters that's supposed to spawn has it, then then it starts working now. And usually about 3 of them. Good. We got a few regals and stuff like that.
Better than coin.
So as you can see, not too bad. Also the snakes can burrow and then pop out, but again, very telegraphed, very graphed. As long as you're moving, really not an issue. Just watch out for the delayed grenades, because the delayed grenades can be a little bit of a problem. Alright, so let's get more sacred water. Let's take a try. So next one, we have more gauntlets, we have more rituals, we have hourglass. I'm trying to find one that we haven't done yet, but unfortunately all we're getting is hourglass and gauntlets, supposedly the hardest ones. But again, between our damage and just my ability to dodge, it should be fine. Now I could get the merchant here, but early on, realistically, you want water, right? Either through relics or just water, because remember, we have a guaranteed merchant. The more water we have, the more we can buy. Now I can buy stuff here, but I don't need to buy stuff here when I can get something else. Now the question is, what is that thing? Now I want to avoid the spike, right? Taking damage. I don't think it's going to be an issue in this run, so I would take it, but you do want to be careful. Honor resist does reduce this, and we'll talk about it once we get to the relic, but the higher honor resistance is, it will reduce it just like any resist, right? Like fire resist, if you have 75, it reduces the hit by, I think, 3/4. Same thing here, it reduces that by 3/4. So 122 damage is probably close to 30, maybe 30 damage to you, right? And when it says physical damage, it basically means to you. And I think that's further reduced if you have armor, not honor, but armor. So if you also have armor on top of it, since your defenses work against this, it should reduce it further. At least that's my understanding, right? That's the benefit of this over evasion. Evasion has some unique things where you just don't get hit for certain rooms, right? But when you take the damage, armor helps you reduce it, right? So in this case, I think just to show this one, we're gonna do the ritual down here, even though the other one was probably better. So, oh, this is the one. So this is the other portal one. As you can see, there's just 2 guys standing there, right? I destroy the portal,
Reload.
it drops, right? I stun them good. That's the snake I was talking about. Pretty simple. Like I said, you don't need to kill the monster. I just move, I just kill these guys. They're the guys that actually summon, so they're the ones that will tell you when the portal will spawn, right? Because the portal itself does not have a health bar, which is odd, because sometimes I did kill them before I killed one of them and then the portal drops, so sometimes it is possible to get the trial to stop even though only one is dead. I still would probably kill both, but you know, that's how it works. So we got another hourglass, it seems. Hourglasses are distinctly good because remember, since we can get higher level tickets, or the coins, that means we can level up to this and get some loot, right? Particularly keys, right? This is one way we can get our early keys and stuff like that. And these monsters have a high chance of it, especially if you have some form of rarity, or you have a relic that gives extra keys. There we go, we have a snake, spider. So this one's pretty simple. The ES is a little bit annoying, but not too bad. The most problematic one is the one that has proximity, because you just have to be on top of them when you do it. It's not the worst thing, especially if you're already melee, then you don't really care because you're already in melee.
Joke on this.
As you can see, we got the fire here, and we got 2 silver keys, and that's over. We also got a waste stone out of it, which is nice. We got that, which I think is nothing because we're very low level, right? Yeah, that's pretty garbage. But we got some small currencies here and there, which we'll talk about how this actually works to your benefit to do early. But yeah, it costs 5. These are the shrines that they talk about. If they say there's a affliction you get per shrine or for the shrines or stuff like that, this is what they're talking about. So it costs 5, so this is very important. There's some boons that you can get that are half afflictions. One of the one that says you don't get sacred water from monsters is actually secretly problematic, because if you waste all your water, unless you find a water shrine, you cannot use these things. So it's secretly really dangerous, and I found that out the hard way, where I finally got to a room that removes an affliction. I was going to chance removing a movement speed affliction, and I couldn't use it because I also had the thing that didn't grant me water, and I ended up finding no water along my path. So as you can see, there's also things that affect the merchant. Merchants can have increased price, offers one choice, there's boons that lower it. You don't really want this, especially on the first room. Like if you have no choice, let's say these are just the worst of the worst, you don't want this one. Increased prices is up there as well, but one choice is probably the worst. Now, as you can see, you never want this one. This one, it says monsters, but it affects bosses. And again, if you're going to floor 4, this is going to be a real problem for you. This is just a mod you want to avoid, whether you're doing maps or the Sanctum. So I'm probably going to go for less honor, especially I have a lot of honor and I haven't really been hit. So it's the one I want. And as for the key here, I'm going to go chalice so we can look at the chalice. It's also silver key, so yeah. So let's go into it. Right. Those lights usually tell you where there's monsters. Typically these guys are the rares. Like I said, they're one of the ones they choose for it. There's our spider. There's also like random monsters. Those orbs they throw, that's the ones that you are timed. So again, very easy to dodge, but you do want to be aware that they're there, otherwise you might accidentally run into it. The explosion isn't big unless the monsters have, for some reason, big area. And yeah, that's it. So we're already done with the trial. Again, our damage is pretty high. We already have a boon. I'm not exactly sure when I got that boon, but I guess I got it. Oh yeah, when we did the shrine, yeah, that gives us a boon. And then we have damage taken and stuff like that. So let's move on. And we're going to talk about the boss fights as we go along. Alright, and then we're going to move on to... Which one did I want to take? Oh yeah, I want to take the less honor. Right? So I would probably want more water, but that's an annoying one. So we'll get less honor. So you will see my 6,000 will actually go the lowest because of this 25% less. It's pretty harsh. Right, we're at 4,000. And we got another hourglass, which I don't know why. It gives us keys, right? Even though there is a low chance that by the time we get to floor 3, there's a room that we really, or a chest that we really want. So, no, never hurts. Right, this is pretty slow. It always starts slow. Saw this many times. This is kind of why I decided to do the lower one, just so I can kill it a little bit faster. Right, because it's for the video. Right, I'm close. So there is one other thing though to note. They changed about how up close lowering of honor works. You actually take less honor damage if you're up close and you take a hit. Well, from the monster, right? Obviously not from ground fights and stuff like that.
Who's next?
And this is very important. It actually makes it so that you might want to come up to the enemy. It's a lot easier to dodge a lot of enemies if you're up close. Kind of if anybody knows like D&D logic, but if you're a caster and you're in melee range, you have disadvantage against the person in your melee range because essentially they can just quickly evade and bob out of your spell, right? The arc is easier to dodge rather than from a distance where you have to cover a higher distance to dodge it. Now, this doesn't really matter for spells that are single hit, right? Just arrows. But imagine a wave, right? So the wave can hit you here, making it super easy to dodge. And a wave out there, super hard to dodge, right? Especially like if attack super telegraph, I would just go through the enemy and I dodge it, and I can hit him from behind. You're gonna see me do this on the last boss fight, and yeah, it's a long one, and so doing that helps here and there. All right, we got another key, and let's do the fight. So this fight can be a little bit of an issue if you don't have a lot of DPS. It's not really an issue for movement speed or defense is too much, as long as you can see the attack coming. So we're gonna show. He's gonna start always with an explosion. Don't get caught by this, right? He's just gonna come out here, and then he's gonna do an explosion.
Stand clear.
There you go. He does his radius, and then you can hit him. And then his first slime is always gonna be to drop his volcanoes. Just don't stand in them. They throw a little bit out, and then you can just stay away from him, right? I like to stun. I'm gonna actually hold off from killing him just so you can see other moves. So he does the same attacks as the smaller ones. He slams, right? See, slam. Boom. I get out of there. And then he makes things drop from the sky. They're harder to dodge, but that's all, right? I get close to him. Very easy. I just go behind him. And then whenever he starts to look like he's about to explode, just get out of the way and move away. So, bunch of relics. Also got a scepter. Probably nothing. Alright, so you see, we have a vendor. I'm just going to throw all of this real quick into a stash. Right? Because I don't want to think about what it is yet. Right? Classic stuff. So let's purchase. Okay, let's see what we got. Now, 25% more honor. Very nice, right? It basically counters against or less. I think the less is worse than the more, but you know, it's still helpful. Especially when we have a lot of sacred ore. More sacred water found can be useful. What we're gonna do is we're definitely gonna get the scrying crystal. The scrying crystal, best one. I'm not gonna get this one probably because this is only a floor 3 and I want to save it, but I do want to get more sacred water. This one's probably the worst, right? Because you both have to get to a shrine and then you get 145 restored, and this only really scales with restored on artifact. It's not the best stat. This is decent, right? It just quickly just gives you what you need. And again, this is very useful if you don't have a lot of honor, but we're only doing 3. If we were doing 4, I'd definitely get it as well. But for now, it's fine. That way I save some. So as for the rewards, as you can see, let's go through the reward chests. There is our screen. Here you go. So there are a few things. One is the royal chests. They have 3 passive skill tree gemstone, right? It's just skill gem things. Hoarders just give gold, right? Warrior, random stuff for martial. Mage's staff. Relic, this is probably one of the good ones if there's nothing else, because relics, you know, you might get something good. Mysterious, it's kind of random, but it typically is gold or trash, but you know, you can always test it if they have nothing else to spend it on. Arcanist is crafting type materials, but it's not always the greatest. Range, obviously, for bows and crossbows. Belts can be decent. Jewelers, this is actually pretty nice because the jeweler one can also drop, I believe, jewels itself. So you do want to check these. Obviously, rings are always good. Spectrum, Time Lost, and Cartographer is probably the best one. This one is probably the very unique one, but obviously Spectrum Jewel is probably even more unique. I've never seen this one, but this one I've actually seen. So this one is here somewhere. It might be just before floor 4 exclusive, but this one I've seen up to floor 3. And this one gives you jewels that affect your passives on the tree with a radius. Actually, since I'm here, I could probably show you. And then obviously, waystones are very nice. They give you waystones. So I'm going to show you real quick. I have one somewhere. Yeah, right? I have it somewhere. Oh, here you go. So as you can see, go on the passive tree. This one is a small radius that can go up to large. Where's the jewel slot right there? Boom. See? It goes in there, and it adds stuff to your small passives, right? This is minions, so it adds a bunch of minion stuff. It is really nice, and they tend to go expensive. The small one's probably nothing, especially if you get like bad rolls and stuff. But those are the ones you want. Now, so we're gonna check real quick. This is the first floor. I don't expect anything decent. Yeah, very small. There's maybe this if you have nothing else, or the relic, or not the belt. If you only starting and you only have the first floor, obviously relic is probably your best bet. But let's move on. So we talked about a few monsters. We're going to continue with more monsters as we go. Alright, so this is the second trial. And the reason I do have a trial where I go up to the 4th floor, and it's kind of one of my worst ones, to be honest, because I actually took a lot of random hits that I shouldn't have, and I took a bunch of afflictions that I really shouldn't have, but it will show you that even though I don't have the biggest damage, and you will notice this, right? Even though it seems like I'm doing well and fine with my clear, it actually is terrible for the fight. But it's not that bad once you get the basics. Now, as you see, I have a scrying crystal, so now I see a third room. Right? This gives me valuable information. Luckily, there's only one with affliction. This 30 water is not the worst thing, especially if they are generally monsters that you get about 20, 30 from, right? Or a little bit less, but you know, it's not the worst. So all three are sacred fountains. We have an escape room. I kind of want to do this, but let's see if these are bad. Monsters have increased, reduced relics. So you don't want the reduced relics, especially if you have really good relics. If you have no relics, this is just nothing for you. Or a unique one that affects your relics, it's fine. So yeah, this is not really an issue then, but generally speaking, I don't like to get this because I have max stuff, I have honor resist, all of this gets reduced, probably terrible. Again, monster life not great. Curse Wind Feeble is kind of similar, right? You deal less damage and you deal less crit, never great. Now there also is these. You have no evasion, you have no armor, you have no ES. Now, in our case, no ES means nothing, right? We have no ES, so that's a freebie. But no evasion will hurt us the most, and since evasion works for these monsters, dealing honor to us, it's very important that we don't take this one. And then this one can be problematic if you know you will always take a lot of honor and you need to restore it. But you know, if you are pretty good and this is a very low floor, or in my case, you know, I'm also a little bit over leveled, probably won't take it. You can probably take this one and go for it. Now in my case, I will probably, ooh, yeah, there's not really a lot I kind of want to actually get here, but I did want to do the escape trial. I'll just do this because I'm not really trying to kill fast anyway, right? This is already a lower version, but as you can see, this is one that you want to try to avoid because you see it leads one into the other. It's just lucky that it's not that bad. But for here, we're just going to do it so that we can do the escape. So as you see, there's a crystal. Go and press it. It shows. Now this is the second floor, so it shows two directions, right? I don't need to kill anything. I just touch, go. If you have very fast, then you're good. So a lot of these attacks are going to be pretty directional, at least on this floor. Right, I'm just going to clear. These spider guys are the most annoying if you let them explode on you. So you don't want to. If you also can pre-hit monsters, that helps out a lot. Right, because if you hit them before they do, then they can't really hit you. I like to stun. Right, if I stun, then they can't do much. But it doesn't take this. This one's probably the one that does the most damage. It's not harder to dodge than the others, but when it explodes, it can take a chunk of your honor. Oh, see, I got hit right there by these guys, these ghosts. But it's all done. Now, one thing you want to be careful of. This really didn't come up too much because it wasn't really an issue. But you don't really want monsters here, especially if you know you're gonna go slow through checking it, because they can walk into this room with you and they're gonna attack you and they're gonna take honor. So yeah. But we took a one hit right there from those guys. Kind of reacted a little bit slow. If I used my dodge, it probably would have been better. Ooh, that's unfortunate. I kind of wanted that gold key, but you know what? It's fine. We can get this and this. Alright, so let's go for monsters have increased life. Alright, so this is the worst one for the increased life, but it should be fine. So like always, we stun, we run around. I like to drop ground, right? It depends on your build, but if you're moving, tend to have it. Now, here is the new monster. This guy drops like a jar, and that jar he uses a fire attack from. You can either throw fireballs at you, or he can, if you're close enough, he'll probably do the flame attack. That's basically all he's gonna do aside from walk. As you notice, he also did the fire dropping rings, but that's just his special ability, right? Like, because he is upgraded. Now there's these monsters. I don't know if we're gonna see them. Let's see what the next monster type is. Alright, so it's these guys. They throw detonated mines. You don't want to stay too close. If you stay far away, they're really not an issue. They get harder on the fourth floor because instead of dropping mines around them, they point towards you. Right, they're very directional, and you will kind of see them later on. So for the ones that do the mines, you'll kind of see it. They're gonna shoot up missiles, and then the missiles shoot at you, kind of like the Vertania fight in this. What do you call it? PoE 1, and it can be somewhat problematic if you stand still, right? As long as you're moving, it's not really an issue, but you know it can get you if you're not looking at it. So let's check the pledges. Now, chances are these pledges are pretty trash, but sometimes you get something good, right? This removes my ability to restore honor, but it restores honor now, right? This is useful. This one removes this, but gives me another random one. I don't mind this. Same thing here, gain you a random one, it gives you that, useless. Now, there is a really nice one, especially if you're almost done. It's called Death Toll. Death Toll makes you take like 1,000 something honor. Now, already, that's not really a big deal if you have a lot of honor, right, from relics, and if you have a lot of resistance, because again, it gets mitigated and possibly through your armor itself, right? Not just your honor, but your armor. So if you find it, it's great because it does one of two things. It either gives you 3 boons or removes 3 afflictions, which is really nice, especially if it is on the last floor you're doing, right? If, let's say, you're doing the last floor, it's usually 8 rooms. If you find this on the first room of the last thing, then you can basically just remove 3 afflictions or gain 3 boons depending on what it says, right? If you're just doing 3rd floor, same thing, but you get the idea. And even if you have to take the damage, it's sometimes worth it, especially if you already picked up an affliction you don't want, or you're kind of looking for that damage boon, movement speed boon, right? It's just something extra. In our case, nothing here is worth it, so we're just gonna move around. As you notice, the affliction, the pledge does not have a 5 cost. If it does not have a 5 cost, that means it's not a shrine. If it's not a shrine, that means it does not get affected by things, because there's one that gives you affliction when you use a shrine. It does not get affected by that. This is very important to know. So since we're going to get a merchant, I will probably do the hourglass into it just so I can get as much water as I possibly can. So we're doing the chalice again. Right here, you kind of want to start killing most of the monsters just so they're not annoying you. These ghost guys are a little bit annoying because they vanish. I like to kill everything, but right. Oop. That was a little close for me. Alright, now he's dead. We're gonna pick up the stuff. Nothing here. Okay, you can also kill, destroy like little barrels and stuff. It can be nice because you can randomly get keys. Oops, lightning. Pretty bad. Yeah, these are the little beetle guys I was talking about. Also finding a lot of relics, which isn't usually the case. You do find a few, but this is definitely a lot. Good, I don't stand in the ice. And I just keep shooting him. Right, and just like rares, you read the rares, see what they're all about. Right, they have 50% more life, so they take longer to kill now. We're not that much higher, so they can deal a decent chunk of damage to us. Now, as you can see, he has explode nearby corpses. That is actually a problematic stat because, almost took that hit. Sometimes there's a lot of monsters around them, and you can just take a bunch of honor easily. You probably will survive the hit, but that's not the issue here. Right? And as you can see, we have something that restores honor upon entering a boss room or something. Oh no, we drank something. I don't know, we're already full honor. I don't know if I have a relic. It's possible I have a relic. But let's see how much do I have a nut. So should I do this? Yeah, okay, so there's energy shield here. This is a nice one. And it leads to 2 rooms. This one leads to 3, but no energy shield. It's great. This one gives us a free boon, or this one I'll probably do hourglass because again it gives us a chance for keys, it gives us a chance for loot, right? Again, it's rares that are not scattered around by a lot of white mobs, and white mobs can be a real problem. Good, so we're clearing. There we go. And here's our rare. Let's check out his stats. So if you ever played Diablo 2, you kind of want to quickly glance over the stats here and there to see if there's anything problematic, either short range, long range, anything that could be just annoying. Okay, we got this guy. As you saw, he just dropped his mine things. You definitely don't want to touch them. They would definitely hurt you a lot. Oh. Okay, so that one has the orbs, just like PoE1. Move out of them.
Surprise!
Oh, you gotta be careful. He's gonna about to just throw something at you. If you're close, he'll probably do the fire. It's pretty easy to read it right there. Then he does the pullback, he does the fire, and then when he does the fire, he's really good. Now I was lacking just a little bit there, but
Swift
not the worst.
magnificence.
There we go. And I got a gem cutter, another relic, and some more honor. So as you saw, that was like about 10 honor per monster, right? Like when it drops one, like 5 when it drops from stuff like that. So it's nice to always have that as a backup. So let's see. Ooh, nice. Okay, so we'll go into this, probably either into Gauntlet or Chalice, right? To see if we can get a better parameter. Normally, you don't really care because, like I said, parameters tend to be bad, but you never know. So just like before, all right, we have this one. It's a little bit more problematic. There's a rare here, but again, you don't need to actually fight anything. Sometimes they do block you, so be ready, right? Like in that case where it's in this little room. That's why I like to have a stun. Your class probably has a freeze or a shock, something to just momentarily block them. If you do not have this becomes harder. You may want to kill them. You have a little bit of time, right? I mean, we have 44 seconds and we're just running. So you can kill them, right? Especially if you have a quick clear, right? In my case, especially with extra damage, they're a little bit problematic. I can still kill them. Let's see. Yep, I kill them. You can always get possible keys and stuff like that. So I'm gonna get that key. And oh, we got that one piece. Okay. And now we gotta kill these guys just so they're not following us. Just drop a few things. Let's see what the merchant has. Again, this one is really nice, right? Especially if you're lacking in damage. Obviously, if you have no damage, you just did nothing. It's great. It's okay still, but really good. Monsters reduced action speed. Also, probably #1 if damage is not an issue for you, because it makes everything a lot easier to dodge. Telegraph affects everything. Now, this one may be misleading. It says 20% max life. But it doesn't work properly. It kind of works like the omens, where it doesn't always proc, and it only procs when you hit 20% max life, not honor or energy shield or anything. So this is deceivingly really bad, especially for its price. Again, we can try to get this. In fact, should I? Nah, it's fine. It's fine.
We will succeed.
Because I want to keep the water, and for the end, and I'm gonna explain that because. At the end, you have a shrine that converts all your water. So if you're done, you can, if let's say the merchant has no relics and stuff like that for you, you can convert it into keys. So more water, more keys, right? So this one has no energy shield. Oh no, our energy shield is 0 out of 0. It was 0 out of 0. I don't know why it even demonstrates that I have energy shield. And I kind of don't remember this in the first PoE. So it just throws me off a little bit. And it just says it there. Okay. We have the fire guy. First one dead. As you can see, our damage now has exploded a little bit compared to how fast it was done before. The lightning guy is a bit annoying. But, you know, still this lightning guy. Good. Dead. Gold key. Very nice. We're looking for the last rare. Now those lightning guys, just you can kind of get close to them. They have an animation that makes them start. See if we can get close to one. Oh, never mind. They're all gone. We've already found what, a few exalts and a Valor. Oh wait, no, what was the thing that we picked up? That was nothing. Did I not pick up anything? Okay, I guess it was something good. But yeah, technically those lightning guys, they kind of like stand upright when they're about to actually like explode. So you have like a half a second before you actually get hit by it. Oh, I kind of want the honor, but I'll do the parameter. Let's see what others there can be, because there tends to be a large variety. Now, as you can see, there's now 3 that pop out, right? We've seen this guy. It could be the snake. Oh, that spider's gonna be on my back the whole time. Yeah, especially for the chalice. I try to kill them all just in case I need to back up and then I forget about a monster. Alright, just exploding radius, you know. So I'm standing there. He's probably the most annoying one because he throws these magma orbs that jump. And they can bounce off walls. And the funny thing is that when you start getting stairs involved into the stuff like this, it can't go upstairs. Kind of like grenades. I mean, grenade stuff is the same problem, but it's funny to see the NPC. So this is the guy that throws the grenade, the snake. As you can see, not really problematic. I just have to remember that the grenades are there, and it's fine. And we have our key. Alright, so you can see how much more damage does, right? We clear things faster without much issues. You can go slower. Remember, a lot of these attacks are telegraphed, so I can stay there for longer. The monsters that are the most problematic are the ones that you want to destroy faster, but even there, you can just kind of circle. It's the smaller white monsters that become the problem, right? You don't want to be crowded. If it's one-on-one, very easy. If it's one-on a few, it can still be doable, but as soon as you start getting more rares into your pile, unless you're really good at killing them, it's going to be difficult to dodge some of their attacks. Alright, so let's move on. Why is my thing over here? Move it a little bit like that. Alright. So let's see our pledge. Let's work out the pledge. Alright, so this is the one I was talking about. So you see this this is not death toll, but it's like a third of death toll, right? We take us a specific amount of damage and we gain a boon. This is going to be reduced by 3, so it's about 100 something. So if we look at our honor, I'm 4-5. Right, so it'll probably be 4-4. So I'm probably going to take it. Now, you can only take one pledge, so I'm going to look at the others. So this is the one I was talking about. Merchant prices are less, but monsters do not drop sacred water. For this run, I guess it's not that problematic because, you know, we already got most of the boons and we don't really care. But at the same time, because it's easy, we don't really need merchants to have less prices anymore. So this is deceptively actually a big negative. Now, this one obviously suffers from minor affliction. We cannot take that, and this we don't care about. So we'll take this, and let's see how much damage it takes. So it's capped. As soon as this thing vanishes, ooh, sacred fun. Boom. We didn't even take a full 100. 483. We took less than 100 on that. Because we do have some armor, right? Because we have 34% armor, and then 75% honor. So we are definitely reducing. So now this is the boss fight. They also drop sacred water. So getting this, you see where it says the floor, on this floor is double, is actually a very tricky stat, and you want to be careful. So we just got it. That means it's going to work on the boss, but it does not work on the next floor. Now, if let's say I bought it from the merchant at the end of this floor, like after I beat the boss, it does not work. This is very important. It does not work if you buy it from the merchant at the end of the floor. Right, because it is a thing you can get. Do not get that. If you get it in the beginning, great. If you get it at the end, useless. Right? Even now, it's kind of useless, but you know, it's kind of okay. Now, for this fight, I find this actually to be the hardest fight, and I do include the boss fight. The reason I include the boss fight is because the boss fight, if let's say it took about the same amount of time as this fight, the boss fight very easy. Right, it's just the fact that the boss fight takes longer that makes it harder, and it has a check essentially, and we'll go over it later. But for each point, here it's a little bit different. There's 2 of the monsters, just like in this first Sanctum, and they both attack you at once. And when they attack you, they have telegraph slams, but the slams are also pretty big. So if you're in melee range, it's a little bit hard to dodge through them. Right, I try to stay a little bit out of the way, on the edge, to try to go away, but sometimes I get close because it makes it easier to hit both of them. You want to kill them both if possible, because if you kill one of them, the other one gets full health. Then there's going to be like some kind of trap on the field, either the ice one or the fire one, depending on which one you killed. Right, you kill the fire one, get fire stuff happening. If you kill the ice stuff happens. And then the other one gets full health and a bunch of moves, and sure, it's easy to dodge him, but he's got more things he can do. Not a lot. I think he pretty much does the same types of moves, but he just does them like a little bit more consecutively. But now you're also dodging the traps around, right? And you also have to deal his full life. So in my case, I have a pretty decent AoE skill, so this is great. If you have a single hit target, you know, try to get them close. It's also easier to dodge them when they're actually close together. Now, you can get unlucky where they time their strikes one after the other. So if you dodge one, you actually dodge into the second one, which can be problematic. But if you dodge through them, it's not the worst. But let's just go into the fight.
Be light on your feet.
Good. So I'm gonna try to get through this quick. So they stop. I'm gonna try to pull them in a little bit.
Choke on this.
So you see, he did the slam. He did the slam. That's perfect. I'm gonna stab him. There. Now I'm gonna hit the fire one a little bit more. He's dead. Now I have like 5 seconds to kill this one. Anyway, so I took no on this one, but obviously I'm a little bit on level. These attacks also a little scary. As you can see, since this one died first, it actually shot the icicles. I should have been more careful. But, oh, I hate when I'm trying to press inventory, but it presses yeah, the U, right, for the map. So let me put this away, and then I'm going to come back to that. I'll check it later. But yeah, you see the water they dropped doubled. We have 1, 6, 2, 3 water. We also healed. I'm not sure what's healing us. I feel like I have a relic that heals me. Right? Yeah, because it's not... oh no, right here. We have the vial. Restore honor on boss completion. Was that the thing that gave it? Or no, we didn't take a single hit. That's what it was. We took nothing. It's a whole different level of heal. You heal because you take no hits. So here's the fountain right here. If you press this, oh no, is it not this? Where is it? There's a water one. I think it's somewhere here. Yeah, here. No, that's not it. It might not appear for me because this is not my last room, but there is one that gives you it. I can't seem to see it. It should be somewhere. You will clearly be able to tell what it is because it will say convert water, like remaining water. I think the only reason it doesn't give us that option is because we can go higher, right? That's why. But let's move on. So here is the second best one. The movement speed is great, but this one best. Monsters, especially if you're doing the boss. If you're doing the boss and you get this, you are set. This is awesome. This is also great. This is very rare though. I am gonna get it, but it's rare. The reason this is great is it increases your relics abilities. My relics already have max honor, so it's not going to increase my honor, but I also have some things that increase life, slow effects, movement speed, max honor, all of that does get increased. And then monsters deal 20% less damage. Always nice, right? You survive more hits. It also supposedly deals less honor, but obviously it's just for surviving. Now let's check the things. Nothing great yet. We have superior boots here. Royal cash. I have an extra silver. I'll use one here. So, there you go. We got some random rolls there. And that's it. Now those can come out rare, so we just got unlucky with it being blue. So let's go to the third floor. As you go up the floor, the layout will also change. You kind of already noticed the layout changing here and there, but you're essentially going into a more decayed castle. Or rather, going back in time. I think that's the lore, that as you go through it, you go back to the original part where, you know, the Jin got captured or whatever happened. So you're going into a more decayed time. I don't know if it's going into the past or the future. It's possible it's going to the future because the castle gets worse, but I couldn't tell you. Like, yeah. Ooh, I just noticed. Did we do the gauntlet on the second floor? We did not. But you're going to see the gauntlet here. So the third floor is just a harder version of the first floor, basically. And there's a specific trap that I do want to show you. Okay, so we do have one right here. Is there more gauntlets? Because I kind of don't want to take this. It's kind of awkward that we didn't hit a gauntlet. Like, this is the gauntlet and this is the gauntlet. Very awkward. Fine, we'll take monsters deal more damage, I guess. Escape room. So you're gonna see the difference in escape room, right? These things right here, traps. Do not touch them unless you're ready to dodge. Yeah, it's not always the same type of trap, but you do not want to take them lightly. Like if you can avoid them completely, just avoid them. Now that monster right there, the one that comes out of the gun, probably the most annoying and secondly the one that's gonna do the most damage to you. You want to stun them and kill
Where do
them.
I go?
Right? Obviously the ghost is always gonna be a problem. Generally speaking, they're gonna be up in these little platform areas. If it's not gonna be down there. All right, we got a rare here. Throws up. They can also body block you here, so you want to make sure you're moving. I don't think that's our last crystal. Nope. Yeah, we got one more. Basically, as you can see, we've unveiled the whole area. I'm staying on the. If you stay on the edges, does not proc.
Impressive
Right.
endurance.
And we clear pretty quick. Right, we have movement speed. We run. These guys pretty quick. So I'm going to show you this guy's attack because he's probably the one that's annoying. Let's see if he jumps. Yeah, so he jumps up. He's going to smack when he does that. So you kind of want to go away. But he also likes to disappear. And then when he jumps, if he jumps on top of you, he will hurt you. So you want to be real careful. Wait, we're done, right? Yeah, oh, it's over there. I thought it was over here. Here's another one. So when he comes up, he's going to lean back and then smack. So do be careful. And these guys, you can damage them before they spawn. Let's get the water. More damage. Now, the affliction happens before you finish the room. So the damage thing happens before. So if you're looking for a boon in the room, it happens before and then you get your boon at the end. Oh, alright, we'll see if we go here, but chances are I will definitely go here because I do want to see what other ones they have. But let's see, check out the merch again. We still have gold, but I can't imagine there being anything good. But let's go into the gauntlet. So this one has very unique traps. Right? As you can see, there's little red orbs now. You don't want to step on them. There may be a way to dodge them if you dodge them from the edge, like you tap, touch a little and dodge, but your roll distance has to be big because the explosion is pretty big. So generally speaking, just don't step on it. As for this trap, as long as you don't step in the middle, it doesn't activate. So as you can see, I'm on the corner of the trap, does not activate. Now this radius is pretty liberal. As you can see, my foot is in it, but technically I am not since my box is over here. So you can get pretty close. Now that was the easy one. We're also going to show the other types of traps that exist here. These traps activate, but I still need to click it because it's a lever. So you can either go fast or you can touch and dodge, right? The circle is a little bit out, so you don't want to stay close. You want to move away enough from it. Now this is a unique trap. As you can see, there was no monsters here, right? So this trap, even though it will activate its regular trap, it will do something else. It will spawn monsters, and these monsters explode, so you want to be careful. So we run away, and now we're just going to pre-shoot. You can see there was smoke. Shoot. There you go. Everything's dead. And now we just go past this. Now these guys fall and they do a lot of damage. Either you want to be behind them or you want to stun them. Right? Next, these spiky guys, if you hang around too long for them, they shoot out spikes into random directions. Obviously annoying. They can't really be rare, so it should be fine. Again, on the edge. Now these guys, again, they're gonna fall on you. If they fall on you, they deal a decent amount of damage, so you just don't want to take the hit at all. Again, so we got the fire trap, right? So you see this one's gonna be a little closer, right? We got that thing right there, so you got to be a little bit on the edge, and then you clear it. Okay. And now there is a door here, so we can, or not a door, but a path here, so we can step and dodge over it. But we're gonna go because I'm pretty sure there's gonna be monsters over there. There you go. Let's see if we can get other monster types. Now, these guys, they summon lightning that follows, or not follows you, but goes in a direction. The Orb of Storms. You don't want to get hit by that, right? Just basically just move away. Again, more range. These traps we already know. Just wait. Can you step? Wait, step. You can also dodge. Snakes we've seen before. I'm trying to think of which monster we haven't seen. So on this floor, the bosses again could be the guys with the colander, the ones that throw the mines, the snakes, spiders, all the ones from before. I think you now could get the big skeleton guys that just fall on you. They're pretty easy, just don't stand near them or stun them quick. The bats, I think, can't be on the third floor. It could be the devour worms, right? They pop out of the ground. They only stay up as long as you're near them. So if you back away too far, they're gonna go down to activate. You gotta go close. They don't really hurt you when they come up, but they hurt you pretty soon after. So if you're melee, this is actually an easier fight. And then obviously these beetle guys, they like to explode right on top of you, so you want to get them dead quick. Alright, we got another vendor. Let's see what he's got. So again, as you see, water is doubled. This is good now. Also sells a relic.
Always.
That relic's not that great, but sometimes you get good relics. Luckily, we have no afflictions. Typically, I noticed on the 3rd and 4th floor, you don't really run into as many afflictions. I don't know why, but that's just how they do it. So we're going to see how the ritual changed now, and then we're going to see how the chalice changed. We still didn't see the ball things, but you're going to see them in the video later anyway. So let's do that. More water, better. Okay, so ritual close part. This time they're going to be a little bit further away. You can still hit them, especially if it rains. We're going to try to hit them. Boom, kill them. Very simply. Because you can now block you a little, you want to be careful. There's also slowing effects. This is very deceptive because you're not going to notice it initially, but it will become more of a problem. And when there is sand, you can be slowed on it if you walk through it for long periods or you stand. So you want to be moving, right? If you're moving, you're not really slow, but if you stand, right? If I like stand in patches, it could start to sink you or slow you down. It's not a perfect system, but it is annoying, right? You can kind of see we're trying to walk up, we were slowed a bit. And you could also see the grenade issue we had. So movement speed, very valuable. These are the green guys we talked about. Again, either kill them or kill the portal. Boom. And we pre-killed this portal. Let's see if there's any water. Nope. Oh, we missed one. Oh yeah, there's one on the left, right here, or the right. So let's go down. This one's the most annoying, just going uphill. This one also a little bit, but not as much because they don't really see right away, so they don't really spawn a bunch of monsters. So we're full honor, just reduced honor, but full. Yeah, our honor went up, right? Our honor changed even though we're not really taking honor. Let's take the big water. Yeah, you see doubled, we got 1,000 basically. Wow, still lucky, still no afflictions. That's, like, we see a bunch of rooms ahead. We're free to go. I still am curious, like, I don't know what this room is, so I'm still wary of this, so I kind of want to go towards the south. But we're going to do this one so we can see a chalice, and then maybe we see another gauntlet, and then I guess another chalice. And the reason I want to do it is because, again, the perimeter, as we go higher floors, they have more interesting things, right? They're probably the most interesting things you're going to see. Now, chalice, let's see what type of boss. So here, it's not this guy, so it's fine. Alright, yeah, these guys do a lot, especially that big orb right here. When he explodes, he deals a good chunk of stuff. See? Alright, I'm a little bit slowed. Alright, so we got this guy. We dodge out of that. They jump. We killed him. I want to kill these guys. Alright, again, because you're killing so much, you're actually going to get a decent amount of XP, especially since a lot of them are blue or rare, right? Either because you need to kill them or because, you know, they're just in your way. Again, you step on the trap. This probably is not the gas trap. This one probably shoots darts. But again, as you can see, there's also urns. You can destroy them, right? Any kind of AoE skill, pretty useful to kill. Ooh. We almost got hit by that. Again, this is the cauldron guy, and we're good. That guy, these guys summon only if you get close to them, kind of like devourers. So if I don't get close to them, it's fine. Again, bats, snakes. Easy. So even though he did the backup and he almost hit us, he didn't, right? Because it's just too slow, his attack. By the time he actually lands, you're already around. So we made it through. Let's check out our new parameters. Altering the parameters of the trial. So we removed this one, but we removed less. It's gonna be interesting. I don't know if it actually gains you back stuff, so we might as well see if it does, right? So we were at 6,000. Let's see if this recuperates. It looks like it has, right? Because we're not less, so we're back at full. So we removed our restore honor, but we got so much honor of it, right? Because of our percentage, that was worth it. This one, here's another one that I didn't talk about, which is kind of bad. Again, because there's a merchant at the end, right? Our goal typically is we don't need a merchant in the middle because we're going to get a merchant. If you lose all your sacred water on completion, you will never have water for the merchant. And this is terrible, especially since it's a lot easier to go for the water rooms in the early part because it's easier to dodge, maneuver. It's later where you're going to be a little bit picky and maybe start, slow down by afflictions. So you really never want to take this. The only time you really want to take this, actually no, there's no time, because no matter what, water's always good, right? Unless you have just the worst affliction and you're just trying to beat it, you want water because you can return it for keys, you can buy from the merchant, right? You can, all of this is good for you. But if you have no purpose for it other than completing, and it's just, let's say this one was just this, right, then yeah, it's a no-go. In fact, it actually looks like we might have to do that, but because this is our last boss, we are actually going to do this. Normally this would probably be worse. It probably would be the scenario that I would want to do this, but considering I have so much water, I do not want to lose it. That's why I was worried kind of going up here, because we will kind of be led into this room. As you can see, all of them lead into it. This is where pathing is important. If I have multiple choices, I'm in a better position. That's why I went towards the center, so I have more options. That way you're not forced into taking bad ones. And this could be the deceptive thing that takes, because no matter, you could be good at all the gauntlet trial, like not just the gauntlet, but like all the different trials, and you can take all the afflictions you want, but then sometimes you just run, your pathing just leads you into the worst affliction, right? And that's just run ending, basically. I've had to actually stop a run because it was just too bad. One of them had minus movement speed, ideal no damage, and I couldn't see anything. And at one point I was just like, there's no way I'm beating this. Alright, so again, trap. Yeah, you can kind of evade. You know, they're not. If you get fast traps, they're a little bit annoying, and you will see me dodge fast traps as well. But you know, they're okay. Oop. Alright, let's kill these guys. Snakes, right? You see the red circles? Oh, but that's the circle that comes from the rare monster itself. We got some. Okay. Ooh, that was a little bit tricky. These guys to get close, like to dodge you. Now, this one's probably going to be the spike trap and the monster trap, but we'll see. So I have to touch it. Yeah, you see? Green spikes.
Not yet.
Any monsters? Luckily, no, but we evaded it. Again, that guy's already ready to explode. And fire. Right, you just walk with it. As you can see, there's two of them. Just gotta be. Ooh, we're a little too fast. Right, this is where movement speed is very nice. If your movement speed is low or you're just not good at those kind of movements, this is where it gets really difficult. Again, if you have fire resist, it reduces it even further, so it can still be doable. It's just a little bit annoying. Alright, and then let's do the chalice again. Alright, you just circle, even if it takes a little longer. I kind of want to find a proximity one so I can show the proximity. Ooh, golden. Okay, a lot of water, right? I got 18 water just from that. That's why it's just so valuable not to lose water. Proximity, or this is not proximity, but it's temporal bubble. Can be a little annoying, but you know, just dodge out of it. Overwhelming damage, probably the best offense. Ooh, that's kind of annoying. I gotta get up there and dodge out of him. There we go. Right, it didn't take that much to get out. I just have to stun them, move them out of the way, move them to the right, something, just so I can go up the balance. It makes it a lot easier when there's no elevation problems. There we go, and we're almost done with this, and then we could showcase the fourth one. My worst, my worst one actually, but it is a success. Oddly enough, it is a success, but it was my worst one. Well, no, see, it's worse in the fact that it was lucky, and it's basically goes against a lot of the stuff I was telling you about. So if you run into that, just don't do it. But I both got lucky and unlucky at the same time. Like I went against everything I said you shouldn't do. So as you see, this is the hourglass, same thing, but now the room is a little bit harder, right? The sand will constantly slow you. There's gonna be the other monsters here. Same rules. You gotta kill the monsters if you want to lower the time, particularly the rares. Otherwise, you can always just run around, especially like if it's a devourer that's annoying to kill. Then one thing I end up doing is that I just don't kill him. I just keep running around. It's a minute and 30, 40 seconds. Like I just kill randoms and I eventually make it. Okay. And now let's tilt this over. Good, like always, we run. These guys probably gonna be the most annoying. Yeah, so as you can see, the sand is starting to slow us a bit. And this devourer is annoying when his fire drops. Luckily we managed to get him. In this corner can be super deadly for us.
Choke on this!
Lightning. I'm gonna try to kill him quick. Now shock doesn't inherently hurt you, but it's definitely not good. Alright, what's the next monster? Okay, we got the snake. Oh, we got hit. That guy jumped right on us. I saw it, but I wanted to kill. So I took a bit. As you saw, the hit took a few on her. This is at 75. Right? This would obviously take more if you were not at 75. This is kind of why I feel the hourglass, even if you're good at it, is probably not the one you want to do. It's because there's always a chance, right? Especially as you go up, there's always a chance something's going to hit you somewhere, somehow. Right? Oh, we restored honor? What do we have? What? Something. We have something that gives us honor. It does, don't we? I'm pretty sure it's relics. It's gotta be relics. Do I have a relic that's restoring something? I gotta check, because I really don't want restoration on my relics. So we'll check our relics after this, because we haven't talked about all the ones that you can get. But, so, in this boss fight, you see there's traps, right? Don't step on them. And you might be deceived into thinking, oh, you have to step on traps. No, these traps are worse than the fight can ever be. So for this one, basically just move around. You don't want to stand too long, even if you can kind of dodge things. There's a spin. There's the main attack. As you saw, we stun. Right, so he's just going to do the stab right there. He does little swings when he spins back his tail. Oh, as you can see, we got hit right there. I want to see a spin attack. Come on. Can you spin? There you go. No, that's not his spin. So that's a spin. No, he has like a cartwheel attack. Come on. Ow. Just letting him hit me because I want to see. There it is. Okay, so when he does that, he's going to do a spin, and then he's supposed to do more sometimes, but then he starts to jump. So when he does this jump, you don't want to stand in the traps. In fact, you kind of want to either dodge out of the way or just take the hit. Typically, if you just run around the edges, you should be fine, because he doesn't run into the wall. Yeah, a lot of the hits, if you're close, you can kind of dodge them. As you saw, we dodged a few. We did take a few stabs because I was just trying to watch out for other hits. When he's about to do the poison slam, dodge early. If you dodge right on time, you actually get hit because it has a radius. You want to dodge a bit earlier. This is very important because it happened where I took the hit. If you have 75% honor resist, it's not gonna hurt that much, but it will chunk you, right? We took a little bit of here, right? It was like what, 200 max maybe honor we lost. Let's see, 100. Yeah, it's about 200. And yeah, a lot of the hits we didn't need to, right? Like he did the snaps, pretty easy. If you just back up or go towards, like if you do like boxing where he does the right jab and you move out of the way on either on the left side, or then you're fine. Or you go under by actually just dodging through it, stuff like that also works. I find this fight to be the second easiest, right? Like I said, the second boss is probably the hardest. or like equal, like I said, time wise. Like it's probably the second hardest just because the boss takes so long, but it's actually the hardest for me technique wise because of the amount of control and dodge and how easy it is for them to kill you. In the final fight, it's just long. It's just continuously long and long, especially if you have good honor resistance and you pass the checks, you should be fine. And we'll talk about that when I show the video. So as you see, we're here now. There's right here, converts leftover sacred water to keys. We can't go further. Might be why it's here. It could be because we didn't see it or whatever the case. I'm going to convert it. I have a ton. I probably have more keys than there are chests, so we can check all of them.
I shall aid.
Now, we probably should have checked this before we did that, but there's a high odds that there was nothing great. There's defenses, really good. All right, sacred water at start, not useful, especially since it's very easy to find sacred water. All right, at least we try to. And this one's probably the type of relic you want. I have a few of these. I don't need this one, but high honor resistance and high max. That gives you the most opportunity to succeed. And we'll go over in a second after we check out the chests. I have 5 gold keys, and there are only 4 gold chests. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Anything?
Gotta stay quick on my feet.
Oh. I'm just gonna put this over here. I'm just gonna dump everything. Dump everything. Okay, we have this one right here. I also have this one, which is a very nice one, and I'll explain to why. It reduces potency and increases movement speed. And for the boss, this is really, really good. It's just I ended up not having room for it, which is very unfortunate. Pretty sure I can open everything. Oh wait, now I don't need the advanced. I always press the wrong thing. Advanced. Silver, yeah, we could probably open all the silver. As you can see, there's gold. Let's see, there's boots, warrior, armor, mysterious. Let's see what the mysterious one is. Alright, mysterious is a few things. We got
No room.
chaos jacket. Every time, I swear, it's every time. Alright, let's pick up the jacket real quick, see what it's all about. It's pretty trash, I think. Yeah, we open up everything. We can definitely open up these 2 silvers. And we have 1 more bronze key, but not enough for everything else. Let's open the mystery chest. Expert, okay. So as you saw, we didn't really get a good chest amount, but we did get some loot, right? We got an alch, a few exalts. I did get a few divines. I only have 1 left because I ended up spending a few. But, you know, you do get a decent chunk of stuff here. It's pretty slow. I wouldn't say this is the best farming, but if you're lacking in maps, this is not that bad. And one of the reasons I say this is because these coins only cost 1 exalt, right? At least from what I've seen at the level rate of 78. You can go higher, obviously, for better. This is 74. I didn't even buy this. I found this. And it could help you level. You can go higher. All of them seem to be 1 exalt, except maybe the highest level ones. And these chests can get better and better and better, right? Like I said, there's the time loss ones, which are rare. Sanctum, the Grand Spectrum ones, really good. They sell for a lot. All of this is great. So let's go back and let's check out our relics. And I'm curious, if I do have a water one, I gotta change it. So we need a coin, which is awkward. You can't look at your relic setup unless you have a coin. Let's take our 4 coin. Let's check it out. So these are the relics, right? I'm just gonna quickly go through them, seeing if I have anything that restores honor. Yeah, I don't have anything that restores honor. So let's go for the first one. This one, really, really good. It gives me high amounts of honor resist, high max. I really enjoy it. Then I have this one. It gives me life, particularly because I'm somewhat squishy, and especially since I started this lower than the level of the area, I was getting 1 shot. So increasing life, really good. There isn't one that increases ES, but there is one that increases defense, which increases ES. So this one's on life with honor. Then I have defenses, 48%. Defense is really good in this. It does not increase your honor, right? But I have honor resistance on here as well. But armor, again, mitigates some of this. Evasion means that you just don't take certain hits, right? Which make it easier. Obviously, ES is just more ES and stuff like that for more survivability. I have this one. This one kind of could change out. It's just the moment the best one I can use. It gives me more max honor and quantity of keys, right? Now that I'm at a point where I can kill this pretty well and I'm pretty good at going through everything, I want more keys to drop, right? More keys means more chances to open stuff. You know, you can always find something good. This one, just like the first one, high resist, high max honor. I don't need that much honor resist since puts me, I think, at 76. So this was perfect. This gave me a lot of max honor. Now, this one's my movement speed. Again, keys, movement speed, very useful. Like I said, I ended up not using the slow one just because there was no reason to, because I needed keys right now, right? But the movement speed one is probably the best one. In fact, actually, let me move it over before I forget because I recently got it. I just have a bunch of one. I don't know what I'm going to use all of these for. Now, let's just go over some useful mods, trash mods. As you can see, we got defenses here. Let's actually check that real quick. Let's see if it's good. Honor resist with defenses. Not the worst, but not the greatest. So, chance to drop double water. Not great, right? Monsters drop very little water, so when a chance to drop, especially a low chance to drop, is just trash. You don't want that. Restore honor when you're getting a shrine. You already restore honor when you take a shrine. Now you see that there is boss takes damage. Seems like a good mod, but technically this is good in the sense that if you can't kill the boss and you can't find anything else, this is good. Obviously you want this with a second good stat, so I wouldn't take this even if I needed the boss takes damage, but it is a mod that you do want. The boss takes damage is one that you want, but there is a better one. Next, additional room revealed. Can be useful, right? Especially if you're going in with the unique ones, right? Like this is where a lot of these probably will shine a bit better. If you go in the unique ones and certain things you can't use, right? Like honor restored, I don't care about. Reveal an additional room, I can already see. Unless something blinds me, I don't need it. There's this one that gives you sacred water on completion. It's very small, but it's assuming that you can't get water, and gets a key when you gain another. It's nice, right? It's positive, but it's in essentially the trash pile right here. This one is Sacred Water doubled again, honor restored, probably the worst one. And then this one, 8% chance to avoid gaining an affliction. Pretty bad. Since afflictions are pretty rare and most of the time avoidable, when you do need to get an affliction, you want this to work. And at 8%, this is trash. Unless you can get this to 100%, it's useless. Alright, because think about it. Just like, I mean, it's not like block where you can take an affliction. No, you don't want an affliction, right? If you're taking an affliction, it's because you had to, right? And you chose the best one for your build to use, but you don't want an affliction. So you want this to work, and considering it takes up a spot, it's not great. So before we move on to the good ones, actually, let's talk about this. So you see I have a full thing unlocked. Each floor unlocks more in the beginning. I believe you're starting with like a small box like this. I think it's 3x3, maybe smaller. And then slowly it gets unlocked a little bit. 2 of these runes go away, and more and more and more, and then you could fit more and more relics in it. Obviously, if you beat the 4th one, you could fit the most, which is probably the best. But, you know, even if you could put a little bit, go for resistance, right? So let's go look through some other stats. So there is resistance and defenses, right? Really good. I have some life here, some random movement speed ones. I don't need this one. I don't know why I have it. This one's actually bad. In fact, I'll switch these 2 out. And I should really update them, but I'm like, it's lazy in this. There's more life. These small ones tend to be life. Here you get a good chunk of resist plus merchants have reduced prices. Not really necessary, but again, bosses take damage. Really good. This one's just as bad as that one, honestly, but it's here. Like I said, I need to clean this out. Reveal additional room. Next, let's go for the tall ones. This one has a very unique stat. If you lose all your honor, you gain 1 instead. This is very nice for surviving a one-shot, but the problem is, again, 6% chance, can't rely on this, right? It basically is if the second stat was really good, it was just there. I just happened to have it just to show. Void affliction, monsters reduce damage. Not great unless you're really struggling. Monsters reduce damage is the better of the stats because it reduces all monster damage, bosses, regular monsters, and rares. And this leads us into another one that I will show you in a second. So that bosses, merchants have 2 extra choices, all kind of okay. Oh wait, we never looked at it over there, did we? Oh yeah, this one's pretty cool if you can get it, but again, it's pretty big for useless stuff. Do I not have it here? Oh, I do have one here. So monsters take damage. This is probably the most valuable stat, especially if you're going for the boss 4 fight. The reason this is because that fight has the most health. It's just gonna take up all your time, like millions and millions of health. So the more damage they can take, the better. Monsters take damage is a multiplier, right? Because it doesn't increase your damage, it increases the amount of damage the monsters take. That means it's after your damage, right? Your damage is calculated, the monster takes the hit, and then they take 20% more of that hit, right? 20% increased from your full hit. So after all the calculations. So if it's after the calculations, it means it's always a multiplier. So this is really valuable stat. I do have one. I don't think I showed it. It's this one. Oh, so this one's the one to restore. So I restore honor when picking up a key. I just realized. The reason I have it is because it's 29% increased damage. It's the most I had. If I find a better one, I will definitely put it on. But at the moment, 29% increased damage is how much I have, which is very useful. And then there are unique relics. They usually have some kind of affliction that's put on you. Where is the one I have? I have it somewhere. Find it. Alright, so here's this one. This is the one that allows the boss to drop the Watcher's Eye of Poe2, right? And then I had another one, but I can't seem to find it somewhere. Is it still part of? Oh, here it is. Yeah, the Peacemaker's drop. I'm not exactly sure what it drops because it says additional barrio, but does that mean it just drops a coin? Right? It's kind of weird, but I mean, okay. Right, but as you can see, it says you have no defenses, so you take out all the defense relics, and you don't care about defense. You go full damage, right? This is great for a build that just is all damage, all speed, right? You just go in, you clear it. And now we're done with that, we're gonna look at the 4th floor, because the 4th floor gets a little bit crazier, and there is one other thing about it. And let's see if I can find it. No. Oh, what is this? Nope. I don't even know what that menu was. Give me a sec. I gotta look for it. Let's go somewhere here. It might be a little bit loud. Just give me a second. Where did I put the file? I know I put it somewhere. I just can't remember where I put it. Misplacing files. Oh, okay. So I recorded this earlier just so I can show it. Oh, let me take this off. Where? Oh yeah, I'm not on screen. There you go. So you can see it. Here's my video that I took earlier. Let's see if I can make it full screen. Is it possible? I guess that's full screen for us. So we're just gonna play it. Right. I tried to go quick, which ended up making me take more hits. But we're gonna talk through it. If you don't want to watch it, you can just skip ahead to the end, or you can stop watching now, because basically I'm just gonna go over the floor, 4th floor, and a little bit of the floors going in. I will be skipping a little bit ahead here and there. Again, you already seen these relics I used just moments ago. I kind of show a few others here. I don't know why. Just show I had relics, I guess. Like what relics are. Initially I was gonna talk through this, but 4th floor, gotta focus. So it starts. Hopefully it's good quality. You're gonna see. Alright, so this is the gauntlet, the first one. As you see, again, traps, right? You just wait for them. You cannot wait for them. Your call. The idea is when they start to bubble, you have a few seconds before they pop. The longest time you're gonna have is if you stand after they proc, and you can stand near them. Right? Again, flame. I just kind of was moving fast. You could go behind the barrier. I don't know why I didn't. I just trying to go. I still killed things here and there. So yeah, I'm not going the fastest, but for some reason I ended up speeding up more towards the end than the beginning. Alright, so we open the door. Alright, so this one we've seen. Alright. Alright, so that's the exit. This one, let's see what ours look like. Alright, we got a bronze key. So this is our first issue. We ended up having to get increased life, and considering we wanted to do the fourth floor, can't do that. So I had to make a choice, and I chose the I think I chose golden smoke. No, I chose black smoke. There's no way I would have chosen golden smoke first, I think. Was it? I mean, we'll see in a second. I'm curious. I think I wanted to see the rewards. The golden smoke hides your rewards, so I was like, you know what? I want to see the rewards, so I'm just gonna block out one room. Like, it took me a second because this was the first room to get such a bad one. Oh, okay, so I did the rewards. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. But it was just such a bad one. I was literally thinking of resetting because with this, it's like, oh man, I'm not gonna get anything. But at the same time, since it was just to show the boss fight, I guess I didn't care too much about the rewards. So I was like, okay, whatever. It's not gonna be a rewards run. At the end, I didn't end up getting anything great anyway. I think, well, I mean, I got the unique relic, but other than that, I didn't get anything great. But it was just funny because it was the first one. Sometimes you just get unlucky and your choices are like that, where you are locked into choosing a bad choice and then you have to pray you're eventually going to remove the bad choice. I don't think I ever did remove it, but yeah, so this is one long one, as you see. Snakes, yeah, kill the rituals, always. Now we completed them, we move on. Drink some water, get some points. That's just an hourglass. We don't know anything else about it. Oh, yes, we know hourglass, so I'm gonna skip ahead. I mean, this we already know. Alright, just kill things. Got an exalt. Right, so remember, if you find just one exalt, you can just rerun this run again. It only costs one exalt. And if you're in hardcore, or I mean, in hardcore you could still trade, but if you're in Soul Self-Found, you can get a node on your you know, your atlas. I think it's like 4 points total, or 3 points, not even 4, but like 2 waystone completions, but waystone 1 and waystone 2 level, and you can unlock the higher drops of the coins. And I dropped a lot of coins throughout the maps, so it looks like we hit the gauntlet again. It's literally the same one.
Choke on this!
As you can see, I'm dodging a little bit more. These guys just throw fireballs. These are a little bit the sketchy ones because the explosion's slow, and when it impacts, it explodes. So you want to be careful not to accidentally run back near them. Okay, so I'm gonna wait for this to finish. I think there's nothing else really that big a deal in here. Alright, so this is the crystals. Alright, let's. This is level 1 crystals. Let's see how far we're into this. I'm curious if I already took the second smoke. Oh yeah, I did. So if you saw, okay, I'm gonna try to pause it right as we go, because I won't be able to click it in time. There you go. So I then got hit with red smoke. Red smoke means that I don't see what type of room it is, which is annoying, but I was like, you know what? I don't care about the room type anyway, right? At least not that much. Like, I do care that it's hourglass. Hourglass are annoying, especially as you go up, and there's some of them that are painful, but whatever. This we're just trying to get to floor 4. So I was like, okay, get the purple, the red smoke. Now again, you don't want to do this, especially if you have a choice and you specifically want that choice, and if you want to get rewards, you don't want to do this. So we get the spider, right? He's the lightning. We have to just watch out for the drop down. Again, that's the hard part. Avoiding when the lightning strike comes in. You want to start earlier. I think the rest of it was pretty easy. We're gonna skip ahead. Not like sure. Yeah, I was just picking up stuff. We got one more rare monster here.
No room.
Battle complete. Snakes, pretty easy. We lost a little bit. I'm not even sure what hit me, but I'm pretty sure it was something small, right? Because you can even tell by the hit. All right. Now I don't see anything about the room. The only thing I could tell is afflictions. That's all I can see. I can see the afflictions, and I can see a room ahead of the afflictions. In fact, I might have already gotten the black smoke, but I don't think I did. I would have noticed if I got black smoke already. Alright, Right, again, we're just running around, running through it. Here we go. Just pressing crystals. So that's my flash. I always just throw my flash grenade. Flash grenade is an awesome skill. Like, it pretty much always guarantees a flash on basic monsters, and for rares, it's 2 flash grenades. For the most part, and uniques can be a cycle of 4, roughly. So let's see if there's anything else in the rooms that could pop up. Alright, so now this is the boss fight. We're just going to watch this boss fight again. This is me just going full, right? This is higher item level. I think this was 78 or 79, right? I think I am 85, I think. Like, I am higher, but my damage isn't much better. I haven't upgraded my bow, so my damage hasn't really upgraded that much. And since we got the key, we restored honor. So that's how that got. Because I was a little confused where I kept getting this honor. But, you know, our damage is, you know, relatively okay, right? You're like, you know, we're killing things, right? It's moving. And it seems really good. It's like, oh, that's nice. That's nice. You're clearing. And so, I put all the stuff in the stash, right? I dropped it all. The reason I just drop it all and I can pick up most stuff is just because I don't know what's valuable. I check it later. I don't. Like, it's all post, right? Like, I let the filter kind of decide. I know that I probably should update the filter as well to like not have advanced stuff pop up as much, but yeah, it is what it is. And then that one, it was just super high life. It was like 220, but yeah, I just put it in a random tab.
Let's plan.
So I got the scrying crystal here, which was very nice.
Always.
And then I think that was it for here. I don't know if I did manage to get the bot. No, I didn't. Yeah. I checked the chest real quick. Nothing. I probably should have checked the Arcanist one and the medium relic, but well, the medium relic I probably wouldn't because that's the gold one. But yeah, we're gonna move on. So I got the scrying crystal now. Should probably skip ahead, but I want to see that first one because I already don't remember. I did this not that like literally less than 24 hours, but now I only see afflictions. Right, and I already got a pretty bad choice, right? Removes 5 does not work for me. I mean, even though I'm evasion, I still don't want that, right? So I have to take the monster's increased life because the no armor also doesn't work. I don't have a lot of armor, but I have 30%, so that's gonna be a big chunk of my defense is gone, right? Like, you see, 34. I don't want to lose that, so I had to take life, and I did not want to take life because it ended up making that last fight very problematic. Well, not really problematic because I did end up getting the boon that helps me with damage, but it's just so much. It's really bad because the increase on my damage was not the same as the increase of life on the boss. So scrying crystal, we got the 50, very annoying, right? We're now killing things slower. We're gonna skip ahead a bit, right? So this is the crystals, you've seen them before. It goes into 2 ways, right? This one's kind of the most annoying crystal. Actually, I think he stood there for a second to kill that rare, just in case I get a key out of it. Right, he also had a volatile, which is problematic. Instead, he dropped a relic. But, you know, still a relic. You never know when you're going to get a good one. Okay, now I kill all of these guys. Now, I do want to show, hopefully I do have a gauntlet here that there's one type of trap that probably will get a lot of people and why people think the gauntlet is hard. It particularly happens a lot on the 2nd floor. It happens a little bit on the 3rd floor, but we'll see it. So this is the hourglass. These guys are going to be the ones that carry the cauldron and the guys that throw the mines and maybe the snakes. It shouldn't be the spiders. So we're just going to skip through a bit. Yeah, here's the guy that throws the mines. And here's another one that throws the mines, and there's like 16 seconds. And we're done, right? We got another exalt. We got 3 exalts, basically paid for the run, right? That's basically what it did. And so we're gonna move on. Right, IDing random stuff. Alright, remember this is a casual guide, and so if you're looking for like the best guys for the unique relics, haven't done them yet, right? I don't have enough damage. I don't know. I mean, I probably could do the no defense one. I don't know if it's worth it, right? Because I don't really take a lot of hits, so in theory I can avoid. But this is the one I'm talking about. So you see the balls. There is a way to maneuver. So we're gonna pause for a second. So you see how he releases that way, and I follow these. It's because the next release is gonna be towards me, right? So when I get out of this spot after these are released, so I run into it to catch these. Now, as for the earlier part where you saw two of them, all right? So let's just go again. So you're gonna see there's two, right? This one's about to finish. I try to dodge it. Now I kind of rush it a little bit. I run into this one right before this one goes. Normally you don't have to, you can wait it a bit, but I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go for it. And you do have a room, right? You see this little like path right here, right? If you can control yourself, you can just run right through it. It always spins in a circle, kind of spiral, so it's always gonna be the same, so you know which one's next. After this one, there's gonna be this one, and then it's gonna be that way, and then it's gonna be this way. So you see I dodged into it. Now, but this is where it gets tricky. There's two of them, right? So this one spins out here. This one spins out here. The next one is going to go out here. So I got to catch this on the tail. Right? Oh, no, it actually spinned out here. So I didn't catch on the tail. I noticed that it's about to spit out this way. So I ran into it. Right? Because it already spun this way. So it's about to do this spin. Right? Let me just double check. Yep. So I just ran into it, right, between the two traps, and just run into it. Now, technically, again, if I waited, I could have went around this way, and there is a little spot over there. You can't really see it on the minimap, but there is a little bit of room there to wait for the explosion, and then you walk down here. Right, in fact, I actually need to go there, as you can see, right? It's not here. I had to go through there. This is probably where I took a hit. This monster was rare. These guys are rarely rare, but they could be rare in like the side rooms. And this monster is a little bit bulky, especially with 50% increased life. So he can be hurtful, especially with his lightning minions. I just ended up taking a hit. But as you see, just follow the balls. If you follow them, don't stay too close, they explode. But you know, you have room, you have time. Just wiggle your way through it. It's a lot more time than you think, but you gotta take your time. The big ones to avoid is those. Those hurt more than the balls exploding. You probably see me take a hit from the lightning ball, probably soon. But this was the issue, just that, yeah, right there, you saw me take the lightning hit. I took more damage than I took honor, by a lot, right? That's why survivability is more important, because if I died, then it would be over. My honor at this point is fine. With 75% honor, most things will not be enough to destroy your honor. I'm pretty sure I made it fine on the way back, right? I waited. This one was on the way out. Again, rushing it. You can take your time. Basically, just follow the exit of the past one. This one, very simple. You might be tempted to run as soon as it passes, but you got to be careful. You're going to tag the top of the last line, right? Like the fire, you want to give it 1 second for the line to finish, right? I ran into this way too fast, right? I could have easily got hit, but it was just one. And again, if I just follow the idea of follow the balls, right? Like if it's going, I'm following right behind it. Typically, I will be safe. I'll be safe enough that I can then think about my next move as I'm following it to see whether I need to wait for it to explode or I need to go into another path. I decide, oh yeah, okay, I'm gonna go this way, right? I see the floor, right? So that's what you end up doing, and then you just kind of want to scuttle away from the start because the next balls are gonna start coming behind you. But it's slow. It's slow. It's not that fast, right? And these ones are probably more painful than the others. So it's here. It's a little bit tight. So I use my dodge here. You want to be careful with your dodge. Just like you don't want, I think we talked about this right in the beginning of the video. Do not want to dodge just to dodge. You want to dodge with a purpose, right? If you have even a little bit, even if the idea fails, you end up still succeeding just a little bit with the dodge, then it was worth it. You just don't want to dodge for nothing. You want to use your dodge when you specifically feel like you need it, right? Like you need that dodge, you use it. If you can avoid using it, avoid using it. But if you need it, that's when you want to have it. And one thing you want to avoid is dodging backwards. Dodging backwards is actually problematic because, especially ranged enemies, they tend to hit you. You think you got away because you get more time to dodge, but no, the hit is about the same speed and maybe a little faster than your dodge, so you end up actually getting hit by projectiles. You'll actually see me get hit by a projectile there, and I made a mistake because I was a little bit scared to run into the fire, I believe, and I took a hit. Instead, I should have dodged in and a little bit to the left, making it easier to dodge. There is one other note about the dodge. You can dodge traps. I kind of dodge a little bit of traps here and there. You can see me take the max. But I also made the mistake, and you're going to see what mistake I take, right? So, again, I go there. I most likely like right now, since I cannot see anything, I'm actually using pathing, right, to figure out which I'm going, because I see nothing other than afflictions. And as long as I don't hit the right affliction, I always have the most rooms. Basically the only thing I have. Again, the chalice pretty simple. You just kill monsters. I just kill them. Right, you can take your time if you really want to. There's no rush. There's no timer on anything other than the escape crystals. Right, if you need to stay close, just be moving around them. You'll kind of see me do this for the very final boss, but if you just move around them, cycling, they don't have the most fast response time, especially if you reduce their action speed. If their action speed is normal, or for some reason you gave them increased attack speed, then yeah, it's gonna start to get harder, and you're gonna have to be a little bit more reactive and predict when their attack pattern is, because they always have a moment where they don't attack and a moment they attack. And if you go into their range, they're gonna start attacking, and you have about a second before their attack actually starts and everything, maybe a little bit less. And you already start dodging, and you can evade the hit, right? You're gonna have to be a little bit more proactive if you give them speed. But if you don't, and especially if you get the reduced, they become very easy to manipulate from melee range. In fact, even easier. And in melee range, you get reduced honor taken, so it's very nice. Right, I get a boon here. I get some honor. Right, it costs 5, as you can see. I get monsters have 30% less life. Really helps out, but you will see this is actually not going to do that much. Even 20, because he gets 20% max and 30% less. That means he still gets an increase in max, and even a little, like he can get 1% increase. That's still more than my damage increase. I can have 300% damage increase, and it would still be less than like several percent on him. So this is another gauntlet, right? You're gonna see it's probably the one with the balls again. Yep. This one's a little bit different. They tend to be static. There's never really any very unique trap. You're gonna notice they're gonna repeat a lot. So I probably catch the tail end of one of them, I think, here. Right, I move, I try to go. Right, I was a little greedy here, but you know, like I made it. If you want to take your time, again, no rush. Just wait for them to pass. You have a moment to pass. You want a little bit of movement speed. My movement speed is actually fairly low. I only have, I think, 30% with the relic, right? Because I'm wearing boots that I need to wear, so it makes me actually slower. So if you can get speed, you're in a better position. So here, there's a monster. It's the annoying one, so I try to kill it before I go in the room. I make it in, I go around, I kill more things. This is the ball phase. I like to kill the monsters just so they're not annoying me during the actual traps. Do I take that on it? Oh, I forgot to take that on. I mean, it doesn't really matter. So as you see, I wait it out. There's 2 pairs. So I run behind the other one before the other one explodes. Now this one's a little bit like rushed again. Like I said, you can time it, right? You can follow the patterns and see which one you have to follow. As you can see, that was very close because I ran into it right as it started towards my direction. It's probably not what you want to do, right? But if you can get good at timing it, you could have ran here. The idea is you don't actually even need to run in here. You could have just ran that way. For some reason, I really wanted that chest. So as you can see, I miscalculated, so I run back and I follow the rewards. I tried, and then I dodged over the balls, right? If you time your dodge, it's not perfect dodge, but it is. You know, you need to time it a little bit. You can just evade the trap. In fact, you can do it very well in the last fight, and I will try to do it here. I'm not going to actually show it perfectly. This is why I say this is one of my worst ones, because normally I do most of them perfectly. It doesn't take that much skill anymore to do it, but there is an affliction I take that was just rough on it. So I took obviously the max honor. Another gauntlet. I just had so many gauntlets. I'm just going through them all. As you can see, they're still changing, but the general traps are about the same, right? And it's still the walls, and there's the second floor, and a little bit of the third floor will always have these guys. And you know, they're a little bit annoying, but if you get the walls here like this, you can kind of skip a little bit. This one ran into this one. I think I ended up having to take it a little bit closer when they collide. Yeah, you see, I was just a little too close to that ball, and I took a little hit. You can take the hits, especially now with the change, right? They updated in the patch notes that, you know, damage over time is less efficient on you, which is great. Normally, you would just want 75% res. You still want 75% fire res because this is all fire damage, which means if you survive, you take less ignite and all of that. And obviously, it will be less fire damage on you as well. But you can take a hit, especially if you have 75% honor and you have fire resistance. You could take a hit. I also take a hit here because I mistake the distance a little bit. You're gonna see it. Let me take it at the end here. Right, it's just the same path. If like right there, I pressed on the wrong spot. If you press exactly before, you should be fine. I just ended up pressing a little bit too far into the lava path. Right. As long as you press right in the dead center, you will always dodge it. There's no risk of hitting it. Your character size is always small enough. You just got to make sure you click it in between the spots where the lava passed. That's why you don't want to rush. I was just for some reason rushing this. Like I said, I don't know. I feel like I wanted to go fast so that the video doesn't take forever. So this is the path that you want to go actually this way, but there's this trap and I like to avoid it, so I go here, but I end up making a mistake. You see that? If you stay too close to this block, you can get hit, because you can technically stay in that little corner, but you don't want to. What you want to do is you want to actually dodge past two of them at once, so you don't need to stay there. But I ended up doing that. That you might end up taking a little bit of damage because you have to time it and dodge it properly. Yeah, you see I put an X, don't take on. So you will see I have take damage, minor boon again. Right, this one does remove my gold spell, random affliction though. So I was like, check mark, check mark. Yeah, so I got 50% more defenses. Really good, right? That means I don't take as much hits. I take hits better. So this is the fight. I do think I take one hit in here, but I still, you already saw this a bit. My damage is less here. I try to time them to kill the same one. So you like to move them close, like always, right? I wait for the slam, and then I try to dodge, but I dodged a little early there. So now I can't see him, and now when I was hoping on the block, you know, the break, which happened, which is like you want to be inside of them to see what they're doing. If you don't see what they're doing, you can't time it, right? You see that wave? I wasn't ready for it because I didn't quite see. When he does the two fists, he always does the slam. When he doesn't do the two fists, that means he's about to do a wave. He doesn't do the wave first, so you never have to worry about the wave early, but you can also dodge through the wave. I also almost didn't have enough time to kill him. In fact, one of my runs I ended up doing. As you see, traps activated because I killed the ice guy first, even though it was the end. But there was a good chance I had to fight to full him. Again, not too problematic. It was just the fact that it's just annoying that you have to take the whole fight and now you have to dodge more, and you probably take a little bit more honor chip here and there. Again, I check for the chest. The time loss chest can appear in the third one. I don't know if it appears in the second one. It could. You never know. You can always check. Especially if you have just a ton of keys. Now, this is where I got lucky. As you see, I got 50% more damage and 40% movement speed. The movement speed, I don't think was too necessary, but it was valuable. And for the boss fight, because I was already using things to fight against the boss. And we're going to talk about it at the end. And this is where there's a little bit of, I'm not quite sure where it works and doesn't work. But I definitely already had enough movement speed to beat it, right? Like 30, 35 is the bare minimum, I would say, to try to beat the boss. If you have a movement skill aside from dodge, or have a better skill than dodge, right, like blink, you are probably in a better position, right? You can probably go slower. So here's where I made the first mistake. I ended up taking faster traps, which I really shouldn't have. But you know, I was kind of like, I knew traps, right? And even if they were faster, I was pretty sure I could dodge them. And I mean, it's spoiled by the fact that I already beat it. I can dodge it faster, and I do, but I do take more hits, and I have to kind of change my strategy about my timing. Right? So if you think of it, imagine I was just slower rather than the traps faster. Right? Though I feel like if you're slower, you have an easier time because you are slower, but the traps same speed, so even if you're slower, you can kind of compensate by trying to rush it a bit. Here, I had to definitely always go full speed and still take hits. It's not really a problem here. As you see the rituals like before, I just go up. Let's see what the next one is. Yeah, I got my honor back, which is nice. Again, I couldn't see. This is where I was kind of getting lucky, where I was running into stuff like this. So this is where I take the trap. See, if I started with the room above, it didn't have an affliction. There was no reason for me to run into that one. So I don't know why I did it, but I was like, you know what, let me do it. So I was pretty quick dodging the traps. The extra movement speed was kind of throwing me off just a little bit, right? Because I was used to doing it normal, but that's actually why I thought I could do the traps faster for sure. I was like, I'm moving faster, the traps are moving faster, we should sync up. It's not an exact sync up, which leads to a little bit of like change between your muscle memory, because like I'm used to now like dodging the traps, how to go around them, right? I actually stepped on it and I was going fast enough that I didn't actually need to be there. So I was like, yeah, no, the trap was faster, but I was faster, right? I think I took a hit from that explosion there. I walked back into it a little bit. I can't tell if I dodged it because it's a hit and I have evasion. It's possible I dodged it. Again, you could just step on the edges of that. There's sometimes monsters here, so do be careful. That's why I pre-shot, because they're sometimes right near the flame. And this is where I kind of was going. See, it was faster than my speed, so I took damage. This is where I realized, you know what, I'm gonna have to go faster than that, and I got a hit earlier. Like I still managed to avoid the circle trap, which was like when you're running and you're trying to also avoid the circle trap and be close to fire is very difficult. But this is when I noticed I made a mistake with the traps. Right, even though I could do it, it could have easily went way worse. Right, including for these. These weren't too bad, right? As you saw, I just basically went and used my dodge to go away from the shaking ground. But this is only the 3rd floor, so yeah. I also have like a paranoia that this guy explodes at the end. He never does, but you never know. I also got a boon. I don't know what boon. I don't think it was useful. Yeah, it was just restore honor. So yeah, you see that one didn't have an affliction, and I'm pretty sure I could have taken this one. This was my go-to for taking it, but I ended up taking the trap. And then there's trap increased damage. I don't even know why I wanted to path to it. I decided, you know what, to avoid this, I would take this and then just go down here. But then it would be problematic because they all lead to the same room. So you know what, I decided that I might have to take this just because it goes down. I don't remember if I ended up just going down and risking it or just going up and maybe taking it. Yeah, I think I just took up. Right, this is where I was like, oh yeah, path. Because then it gives me 2 choices, and even though traps deal more extra damage was bad, I was like, yeah, I might be able to handle it, right? Damage deal more damage, it's still survivable. But it's a good thing I didn't, because I would have probably lost more honor and definitely taken way more damage from certain hits. Could have been, it's definitely a run ender if you're not used to it, and even if you're used to it, it could still be a run ender, right? Because it ruins the amount of honor you had, the amount of things you have to worry about, and especially for the last boss fight, you want honor. You want to have a good chunk, and you'll see why later. Like I know I keep saying later, but it's coming up soon. All right, I ended up going here and noticing that I didn't see any affliction there. Right, so I'm just gonna just take this. We're gonna skip this because this is just a chalice. Right, this is still to kill a rare monster. There we go. Complete. Run. Alright, and this is where you get paid off a little bit, because now I can see, oh, okay, now which room at the end leads to the worst one. Right, and it ended up that I could avoid the traps. I ended up taking the monsters deal more damage, which is also problematic, but I haven't had anything else that makes them deal more damage. I don't know if I had reduced action speed on this. If I had reduced action speed, then this was definitely also great. But we'll see. So we'll kind of just skip, right? We've seen gauntlets here, right? You can see avoid. Kind of want to make sure we get time for the last one. There we go, complete. Still have a decent chunk of my honor, right? Like the first 3 floors, I still take a few hits here, especially when I take just the worst ones, but it becomes easier. I believe, yeah, I took more damage. I didn't want to take Enfeeble, especially since I was gonna do the 4th floor boss. I didn't want to make it even worse. Alright, so this is just defeat rare monsters again. We're gonna skip past this. Oh, this is the chalice. Alright, let's see. Oh yeah, and then the last one. Let's see what I take here. What's the reward here? Because I don't even remember. Okay, so the silver key, then we take the more monster, definitely. Yep. And the hourglass again. I'm just running around. Right. If you're just moving, you generally speaking will take less damage. Right. It's very similar aspect to Diablo. Right. I didn't even take a hit on that one. Right. Even though it was ready the 3rd floor. Now, obviously, this is dependent on your skill, right, and your build, right? So you gotta adjust a little bit. Now, I ended up taking a lot more hits here, but because you will notice I didn't expect the slow. So this is the phase that he did very little bit of. So he basically hits, pause, hit, pause. So I threw my hits every now and then. Then he does the jump. If you stay by the corner, you tend to avoid it. It's definitely going to be way worse if you stand on the trap itself, because you can't go into the trap, so you can never lean into you. You can try to dodge it, time it. I ended up not doing that here and there, but it was always going to be less of a hit. I was also, you see how I stood still a little bit, trying to wait him out a bit? I ended up going too slow, and I dodged right as he did the hit, which was too late. Right, I took the poison hit. I was still taking it. The easiest way to clear this is try to move around and eventually build up speed and try not to stop, especially if you run up to the corners, just like a sand pit, you know, the corners are a little bit. If you go on the tiles, you would have the easier time, but at the same time, you activate traps, which would be way worse. Now you have to also manage traps. So I tend to avoid them. It's your call, right? If you have an easier time avoiding traps than the monster and you really don't want to think about it, you can totally do it. There we go, we build up the stun meter, throw our damage at him. Right, you're like, oh man, the damage, right? It's not that bad, right? That was like 1,000,000 damage I just did there. Right? And this is, remember, at the end of this is only monster level 78. Right? This is very important. 1,000,000 at monster 78. It's not a lot of damage that I need to build, and even then, like, you know, it's still there. I could totally upgrade a weapon, because I was pretty slow on it, but yeah, I didn't see any chests. I put all my stuff away. This is very important. You want to put all the stuff away just so you have space. But a weird thing I've noticed, number one, there's a glitch where if you stand near the door, the boss can get stuck in it. But, oh yeah, so I do get reduced action speed. That's nice. But if you do get stuck or there's a glitch, you can leave and then re-enter into the room before it, which is kind of nice. Obviously, if you die or something like that, you can't come back. But if you end up just not being able to do anything, or you know, you're stopped, you're blocked, or something like that, you can do that. But when you do that, it means you can throw, you know, you can drop off your items. So in the middle of it, you're like, oh man, I really want every single item for some reason. Then yeah, you can just do that to pull off. I don't know how useful it is all the time, because sometimes it just brings you back into the room, but it basically is like where you left off kind of thing. So this is the 4th floor. We haven't seen this yet. So far, not that much problematic. Again, I can only see afflictions. I don't even know. So I ended up taking the bottom one, gave me the most choices. I was like, okay. And now I also have the boss skill. This is a very unique plus, and it's very great for the chalice, because 1 hit. And as you can see, the boss area is very different. It's very narrow. And here I was just trying to avoid. There's a lot of lightning, a lot of projectiles that's happening. These guys, they just throw that weird type of hit. I still had 1 hit left, so I was just going to save it. It is very useful, especially if you know a chalice is coming. Now this gave me minor affliction, so I did not take it. So this is where I was running into this weird problem, right? I was like, okay, which one? So the shrine giving you 1, I run into affliction. It was problematic. Movement speed, just no go. Just no go. Just never happening. Then there was the minimap. And the minimap, if you know the areas and the layouts, you probably want to get that one. And that's the one I ended up getting. Because even though I can't see anything on the map, I kind of knew the pathing of a lot of these areas already. They're kind of very boxy and very narrow, so as long as you just follow it. These stairs can be really problematic with these guys, because again, they fall on you and then they slam and you can get easily blocked. There is no, yeah, you see that fall right there? If you dodge back, you get hit. If you dodge into and around, the hit does not hit you behind them. Now this is where I was like, oh man, I was trying to get through, but then he blocked me. I wanted to get out of this area. It's both awkwardly easier and harder. If you have a lot of damage, it's easier, right? Because you can just hold this room, you never have to kill a rare. But I was like, no. For me, holding this is very tough. So I ended up going down there. It is also pretty good, but as you can see, there's also some projectiles here and there. That's got an owl void. And he does his fire, right, because I was very close. This guy does his slam. I was luckily far enough that I could dodge fully away from him. And they can also hit you from up there, especially the range one, so you want to be careful. If you're above them, they can't really hit you, but if I mean, some of them can, but there's a lot that can't. But if you're below, you can. Now, this is the guy I was talking about with the kind of missile, right? He stores them up, and then he shoots. He doesn't move while he does it. As long as you're just ready to move, you should be fine. Right, this is where movement speed really hurts if you lose it. Anyway, it's kind of a, yeah. I wanted to backtrack in case I forgot something, right? Or looked, so, you know, not too bad, right? Especially if you have damage, that first area is good. A lot of stun are really helpful because those guys, when they drop, they do a lot of damage. So here there was really a no-brainer. I had to go towards that one because in Feeble, it's just going to be a problem. Like, if I up away with damage, maybe I could 2D's a little better. But even then, you're going to see in the last fight, it's ridiculous. Alright. So, this is the crystals. Crystals, just like before, you just got to click them. But here, now there's little paths. There's a lot of monsters there. That's why I threw the stun grenade early there. But, you know, like right now, you see there's monsters here. You can kind of choose a path. It goes in both directions. It's in the corners and in the middle. Right, that's usually how it works. So I just ran towards the easier one. The bottom right tends to be easier because there's typically no monsters here. But it doesn't mean there's no monsters all the time. So just be ready. You know, get blocked, get dodged, hit. You might need to attack here and there. I try not to stay too long because it is timed, and you know, the longer I stay, the more likely I'm going to get hit. So I try to keep moving. I did get hit a few times here and there, but as you can see, moving pretty well. There's a tile. I don't know if I killed that monster. It was a rare. I could have dropped me a key, but I was like, no, I think I'm out of here. I was already taking more honor than I wanted to. Luckily, I got a gold key. I think that was my first gold key of the run because I was blind. I wanted rewards because you want, like, if you're doing the fourth boss, you don't just want the loot from the fourth boss. You want to see it. Now, this is where I kind of messed up a little bit for the trap. So here, it's gonna be monsters always here, and then there's two traps that wheel, and the best way through it is to dodge. And if you can time it, you can get through this without taking a single honor, and it becomes the easiest thing on the fourth floor. If you can't, you're always going to take hits. And especially with the trap change and the timing difference, I was trying to time my dodge, and I ended up still taking fire. So as you can see, they're moving faster, and they're a little bit mistimed. So I dodged the first one, but I didn't get that last one. Right, because I had to so I still dodged two, but it ended up I had to dodge a third one that I was not ready for. Now here, there's those time machines. Basically, you just don't stand too close to the middle. As you saw, I was trying to avoid it. The reason is that thing explodes at the end, so you can either move out of its way or just stand on the edge, and then you basically teleport back, not on top of it. You'll see it. So here, you just click it, boom, it explodes, but I'm nowhere near it. I dodged just in case. Really wasn't sure where I was. Click the next lever. You can avoid most of them. In fact, if you stand on the outer edge, it does not activate. It's very important. Sometimes these time circles are used as barriers. Like, oh, if you go there, you're going to get time back. But, you know, unless you're minions, typically there's not an issue. I just avoid it. Now, there's always going to be a little bit of monsters here. That's why I kind of pre-shot and ran down just in case. I wasn't sure who was here and what they were going to do. So I just threw a bunch of my grenades, let them activate. Obviously, if you're melee, you can try to run in and pull. There's a few spots. These things don't go that much faster, right? As you can see, they're pretty slow. This is the second part. They usually roll at the same time, and you do the exact same path I do, but, you know, it's a lot easier when they're not moving at high speed. And then there's always monsters up here. There's monsters down there if you don't take the stairs, right? So I did the full follow through to go up the stairs, which I find faster and a little bit easier. So here, I ended up, the no armor was no good. So for me, I think it was just avoiding that second one. So I went up, and then I took if you get a shrine, you get an affliction because it doesn't matter. And then I hit another gauntlet, and again, I have to dodge this. And you saw I dodged back. That's why I got hit. I dodged back into it. I dodged once, and I couldn't time the second one because my dodge was just finishing. So this is where the traps moving faster then I could dodge, right? So which was a problem. I like to close this door because there's always monsters in this room, but there's no monsters this way. So if you just close this door and you just pull that lever, you tend to be in a better spot. Right, and then you get teleport back. Just a little bit of waiting. Right, so I was taking a lot of honor. I was a little worried. I was like, oh man, it's not gonna take. You gotta start trying to avoid things a little bit more. And I click. As you can see, the gauntlet here is the same. It typically is the same. I haven't seen a massive variation in the 4th floor gauntlet. There's a variation in monsters and a little bit at the end of like what your chest rewards are, because sometimes there's red chests over there. But other than that, there's not much. Now these guys with the projectiles, I just shoot a bunch of things there, see what happens. Probably have to go up. You couldn't dodge them. Again, they're a single projectile, so it's not too hard to dodge. Right? I already dodged it, I just didn't realize it. In fact, it's a little bit wonky here because of the stairs. If I try to click a little bit off, it actually puts me down the stairs, which you know I did. Here, easier than the fire thing. And then back to this row of flames. Just time it, you run as soon as the first one's passed. Otherwise, you can take it a little bit slower. I had to do it exactly like that. So if you time it exactly right as they pass you and you run right behind them, you tend, just like in the ball one, if you're just right behind it, you tend to be in a better spot. Yeah, so I have 2 golden keys. You see there's traps here? You don't need to, yeah, I just walked on the edge and I didn't get hit by them. I'm not really sure why this is a problem if it teleports you. It's like, oh, it teleports you. It's not like they're going to be ready to hit. Like, you do so much damage before you teleport. But whatever, it's there. I didn't have to worry about it. Here, I destroyed the portal before I killed the last guy. I think he was just too far. If you push them away, like with knockback, I think it might be possible to actually make the portal stop working, even though they're still casting. So it might be worth, like, if you have knockback, to use it like that. And then there, I took the affliction. It didn't really matter. This is the last floor. Luckily, it was an escape room. As you can see, there's the monsters. I think I get hit here a little bit. No, not from the lightning, but I think I get hit because there's the droppers. Again, I like this path down because typically not a lot of monsters. It's just a quick get, and I just have to worry about the return. Because those stairs, when it goes up and down the same path, is actually harder because the monsters can be closer together. And then you have to drop orbs. There's these guys. Heading through. Click. And then there's 2 left. Again. Stun. Hit. I tried to dodge through them, but couldn't. Luckily, wasn't really punished that much. I should have went the other way a bit because I didn't realize these guys are going to block me so hard. Luckily, they didn't drop mines or anything. And I kind of went the same path I did before, but now I was cleaner. I was like, why are I doing that? There's nobody down here. Right, so I just went the other path. Yeah, so as you can see, I was like upgrading my dodging. I was like, no, I can't take like any hits. I tried to kill those just to see if they can drop. Missed it. I was in a rush. I was like, no, I'm just gonna do it. And now this is the boss fight. Now, so before we start, there's a few things you need to know. Again, boss fight, massive life. So it's technically a check on you for movement speed and DPS. DPS is a little bit less punishing, but it is a problem. This is why you don't want to get reductions, because the longer it takes to kill him, the more hits you're going to take. The more hits you're going to take, the more honor you're going to lose, right? You're never going to really die from him unless you gave him like all the worst like damage on him. And you're just squishy. You typically won't die from him, but he will chunk at your honor continuously throughout the whole thing. And the longer the fight goes, the more honor you will lose. You can do a lot of dodging here and there and really try to be super evasive, and that will help, but you're gonna still take honor. I don't think you could do this without taking honor. At the very least, from what I saw, like to do it without taking honor means that you have to phase him essentially. Right? You have to do enough damage that you can get through the first few parts of the fight without taking without taking too much time. Just that way you can only see 1 or 2 interactions. You go into the half phase, then you do another one that's very short, because it starts to get cluttered very fast the longer the fight goes, especially if he does his lightning. And I try to avoid most of it, and you're gonna see I'm just dodging and rolling, but it took a long time, and that's because of the increased life. Like I said, his life pool very high. 1,000,000 damage is like nothing. There's a bar that says there's damage on it, and yeah, it was just going so slow. And even if I got 50% more damage, he he just had too much, right? He had too much life. He had more life than me, my increase. So I would not recommend. Even when I got the reduction, I think it ended up him having maybe what, 15%, 20%. It was still too much. It was still too much life. So I, on top of just you dealing less damage, I definitely suggest you don't give him more damage, because the very first time I did this, and like after that I did it a few times, he actually was faster than this. This was the longest it took, and this was because I ended up getting all the smoke, or like all the worst smokes. I didn't get the black smoke, luckily, but I basically didn't see what I was doing, what rooms I was going, or what I had to do, and I got a little bit unlucky in some of the pathing. I did get fortunate enough that I did hit some boons, but obviously I also get some minus. This is about average luck. As long as you avoid the really nasty afflictions, you should be fine, right? Like, I've made it to the boss multiple times. The boss fight itself is probably the one where you're going to get stuck. Now, like I said, there's two checks. There's DPS and there's movement. The second is movement, and we're going to get to that during the fight. He does a phase, I think, at 60% and 30%, and he stops time, and you have to take like all these apart. If you don't, instant wipe. You die. I don't know if it kills you in hardcore or if it just counts as honor death, but because it's not hardcore, pretty casual. As you can see, it starts off okay, but that was, I think, because of my ability. The Witch Hunter starts with a decimating strike, which makes him start with less health, right? And now that's when I started doing damage there. So that helped me out. That is one of those things. Also, Calling Strike helps with this boss fight because of the last, like, anything that reduces life. But you can see, he is just taking the hit, right? Like, just standing there, taking my hit, taking my hit. I'm trying to evade his frontal attacks. I go behind him as much as I can. Stunning him is probably not efficient unless you have a really good stun, right? So you can see that stun bar is barely moving, and then when you stun him, it's very short. I still was doing it just because it was part of my rotation, and it was my mana regen. This is the other part. I mean, it's not really a check, but it's just something. You want charges on your mana flask or a guaranteed way of using your skills, because let's say don't use mana. Or just mana regen, like insane. Because this fight, at least if you don't have the damage for it, it's gonna take a while. But you see that counter on the top? This is not counting, I think, the first 15 to 10% of his life or something like that. Like some amount of his life that was taking my decimating strike, and it's up to 2 million damage right now, and it's barely moving. And I'm still stunning, hitting, and I had to do the stun because it was my way of doing physical damage. The cluster grenade was still a little bit, but like, my stun grenade apparently was the one that hold the most life. And yeah, this one, as you see, it's just chipping at your honor. It never really takes your honor in one chunk unless you like just full frontal take a hit. But his whole thing is just to chip you away, kind of like toxic. So if you tend to be behind him, he tries to avoid you. First phase, not too hard to avoid a lot of hits, as you could see. I evaded a lot of them here and there, and then when I stun him, he goes into this weird time loop. And yeah, so you keep moving. For the lightning thing, you can't just dodge him like behind him. It's a little bit difficult because he puts the time freeze thing. If you get frozen, you're unlucky and you have to wait it. But you can certainly avoid and dodge. This is why I say, like, if you wait long enough, eventually gonna get hit by something. Either by him, either by the mirrors. Like phase 1, I don't know how much time I got hit by. I think I only got hit really by the lightning and maybe a few balls. But even then, I didn't really get hit much. But now you see there's like the windows, and they do a little bit. This mechanic upgrade, like it gets worse and worse and worse. So I count myself as a casual, even though I'm, am up to the 4 falls. But I am fairly casual, so I'm pretty sure people that are like racers probably don't struggle with this as much. But the average player will definitely start noticing that they're getting hit a lot. But just go behind them. You just avoid a lot of the hits, and then whenever you're in front, whenever you're not doing something, just quick flash of the screen, see where everything is, and then just like where you should stand. You will end up taking hits. It's just gonna happen. This is why the honor resistance on your relic is so important. If you can get 75, plus if you can get max, which you can get on relics, though I haven't found a good one yet. it's definitely worth it. Obviously, survivability to get here is probably more important initially. Max honor is the second one, right? More honor you have, more chip you can take. Right? Because it's not percentage-based chip, it's just chip. And then, yeah. So this is the phase I was on. I had movement speed increase, but I really didn't need it, especially for the first one. You can get unlucky with where they are, but as you move, you get slowed. Right? I did this in like half the time. You basically wait for that whole timer to reach forward. So if I didn't have the movement speed, I'm pretty sure I can still do it. There's two ways to mitigate this. At least I believe there's two ways. Number one is movement speed. Right? You go faster, you do it. Obviously, if you have a movement skill on top of it. I do have shield charge on my switch. It's a little bit uncomfortable because I'm not used to it. So when you use it, you have to control like the direction. So I try to save it for the very last one and aim it only at where I need to go. And even then, it has an animation charge up, which is slow, but your speed during that is definitely faster. Blink is probably the best version on top of this because you can just go to the spot you're going to, even with an animation slowdown, which is way better than actually having to travel there. So yeah, as you can see, we are halfway. I think the counter restarts like after a certain point because it's definitely over 1 million already. I think it's after like a time it stops and then you hit them. So like I was saying, I'm trying to remember what I was saying. Yeah, for the movement, dodge. But now there's the second part. It's slow potency. You can get that on Ruin, or not Ruin, on Soul Cores. The ones that give attack speed also reduce slow effects. It will help you with the sand slowdown and generally speaking stuff like that. And it helps here as well. Right? The slow effect, I believe it helps. Now, whether it helps with that exact mechanic, I'm not sure, but it should because it's on a relic. You can also get it on a relic. And I can't imagine they gave you a relic that slows just to affect the third sand, right? Like the third floor sand. So I'm pretty sure it works here, so you can also do relics to slow it down, especially if you're going to the fourth floor a lot. That's when you want to slow. If you're not going to the fourth floor, or you're just doing the third, second, first, you probably don't need slow, or even that much movement speed yet. So as you see, I got frozen, but then I just go behind him as much as I can, right? Just dodge around, don't try to evade it. Totally doable. It's just sometimes you get unlucky. You can dodge through those things. I was already tired moving through the fight. And as you can see in the second phase, it gets a little bit harder because now you got these things on the ground. The balls shoot way more from the mirrors. He does more things, including the sword thing. Right, you see what he throws a bunch of swords and throws them out? They are way harder to dodge because they're kind of like the 3 body problem where like, oh yeah, you gotta figure out where they're going next, but they do like these weird awkward loops around the area. So this is where like if you're doing this on one honor, you gotta kill him before this. Like you gotta outpour. So here's the second phase. It's a little bit unlucky on this next phase. I was a little worried. In fact, I kind of made a mistake when I really didn't need to. And you're gonna see it. So he does this, just like the other one. It explodes you, but you're always stuck in it. Basically, just save your dodge, and then as soon as you get teleport back, just dodge, and then you avoid the explosion. It's probably his heaviest honor hit. Obviously, if you're doing this on relic, like unique relics, it might be very different for you. But you know, it is probably his worst one, right? And you always hit, even if you didn't stay in it, you still always end up in it. So you can't evade it at least from being teleported. You can only evade it after you teleport. As for the slow freeze, if you stay in it too long, you will get permanently frozen, kind of like those small ones, except it's longer. So I definitely suggest you dodge out of it pretty quick as well. Just the classic, you know, just evade everything, avoid everything, and just, yeah. You don't need to be as good, right? As you can see, I've only taken about 2k honor. I'm still not done with the fight, but, you know, about 2k. And this is where it's very important that you either have more damage or more max honor right, to survive more. If I had boss taken, I probably would have taken more, and that's probably what I should try to get, because I didn't really need this much max honor to get here. You probably saw, I basically didn't take much hits until the very end, and that was just because of the trap stuff. So this is where it's uncomfortable. As you see, that far corner one really messed me up, and this one was a little bit of a backtracking one, so I was like, oh man, I'm not going to get to it. I could have easily made to it, but instead I decided to shield charge at the last second, which is extra slow for no reason. I could have just done my regular dodge. I actually tried to pause there. You can't pause during this fight, right? Which I guess it makes sense. He's the master of time, right? Not you. But yeah, let's continue. So calling strike. This is basically what I'm trying to get to. I have it from my ascendancy, but obviously, if you can get it somewhere, it would definitely be helpful. This is one of those boss fights where, like, instant damage or life removal is what you want, right? Decimating strike, even though it doesn't always proc, when it procs, it feels good. It feels good. Like right now, look how long it takes me to get like a million damage. Basically, is how much it takes to get him moving past 10%. And then calling strike, I think, is 10. I could get increased effect on stuff like that. Maybe that'll be better. But my gear isn't that great. Like, at best, I have a lot of resistances. I only have max fire, and that's it. I don't have max anything else. It was just specifically I needed fire to make sure it's for the traps. I was like thinking, oh man, it's got to be calling, but Unique's the calling range is less. And there you go. I keep dodging. I got hit by 2 swords. Right, it gets harder, right? And also, as the fight goes on and on, your ability to do things gets worse, right? You don't get better over time by doing something continuously, right? You get tired, you get worse. I was just like, man, it's gotta be soon. It's gotta be close. Right, let's get out of the time. So this is where melee probably struggles the most. Like, we get far away and still do damage. But I'm still very close, right? I'm not really in range. I'm still decently close to him. I don't think I got... Yeah, that was the unique relic, I think, from one of them. Here. Let me see, did I get it? Oh, there was one. Yeah, right there. I don't know why it wasn't flashing, the unique one, but yeah. And so, yeah, that was the fight. As you saw, I took about 2.5 thousand honor with 75% honor resist, and that was a slow fight. If obviously you do more damage, this will be easier. If you avoid giving him extra life, that probably be for the best. And yeah, just movement speed is definitely valuable. Reduced attack and stuff, it's not really useful. This is where I dropped my water. I was looking for something good here, but I ended up not really finding good chests, which is very unfortunate. Like, I felt like this run earned me getting it, because I took just not the ones you want. But like I said, be ready to reset the run or kind of cut your losses if you reach the 3rd one, especially if you're just doing this to get your ascendancy. You know, there's nothing wrong. The Prime, I took the choreographers, for extra maps. It gives you, I think, up to 15. Depending on the level of the zone. Other than that, wasn't anything great here. So I just took a bunch of them. Right, the relics obviously can be nice because you can upgrade for future runs, and this unlocks the last part of it. And you'll send right in the beginning. You probably saw it. There was right near the water guy. There was a big statue. You press it, get your last ascendancy, and that's about it. So the big things about it, you want to avoid one-shots, you want movement speed and damage, or slow potency, right? Either one to get movement speed or slow potency, basically if you want to fight the last boss, right? As for the monster types, I think we went over most of them. The guys that shoot the arrows are probably the problematic ones. Most of them are recycled. You can get bats that are rare, but again, it's just Orb of Storms damage. There is also the Ruin guys. Basically it's the same ones recycle, just faster or in more tight space. That's basically what the 4th floor is. But the 4th floor, an important thing to note is that all the keys and everything, they only work if you're gonna plan to beat the boss. So if you're like gonna try to beat the boss, but you're like hesitant, you can try to save your keys, or if you see a chest that you want to open before it, obviously, you know, get the chest. Here, there was really nothing for me to open, so I was just like, what do I get? Like, I got the ones I wanted, I guess, and I was just like, okay, whatever, I'm just gonna get something. And that was it. And that's the way. And hopefully, that helped you out. Let me see if I have any other notes about some things that could make it easier. No, I think that's about it. Obviously, time lost would probably be one of the best loots that's consistent. And yeah, hopefully your run is better and less problematic. I mean, this wasn't really a problem. I got a decent buff, a decent amount of buffs. It's just minus buffs can go really bad. Those are the ones you want to avoid because of the things that could go bad. It's just, in the sense, I was lucky that they didn't. Anyway, that's it for today. And yeah, if you have any questions, I'm gonna try to do the unique relics and see what I can do with them. And obviously, this is not the greatest for loot. Obviously, you're doing maps and high tiers, probably more valuable than doing that. But there are some decent rewards, right? The Grand Spectrum, the Watcher Eye thing, if you can do the unique ones, the time lost chests possibility, your ascendancy, obviously. It's comparable to the Ultimatum. For me personally, I like this one a little bit more than Ultimatum, because Ultimatum, there's a lot of mods that are just, you know, breaking, right? They're just annoying and they just break your build very easily, and you get a choice of 3. Here it's similar, but you have a merchant that helps you out, and considering there's a merchant at the end of each floor, you always have ways to boost yourself up, help yourself out. I don't know if I got the minus death toll one, but the pledges can be useful, especially if you have a boon. If you don't have a boon, the pledges tend to be problematic because they always give you an affliction. But if you have a boon, you can remove the boon to remove an affliction, which means that if you have a really problematic affliction and you have a boon, try to get the pledge. If you can't get one that removes it, or, you know, a merchant or whatever to, you know, counter it, then the pledge might give you the ability to remove it. Now, chances are it could also just remove it and give you another affliction. But if it is, let's say, reduced movement speed, whatever other affliction is going to give you, chances are it's going to be less problematic than that one, right? I mean, that's probably one of the worst ones. So, yeah. That's about it. I think that's it. I might be missing something. I hope I'm not. But, yeah, it's very roguelite, right? I mean, that's what Sanctum is. And yeah, that's it for the video. See you next time.